Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are coming out on the gridiron. Otis Taylor's leaving the field. The big ovation you heard was that great running back, Mike Garrett, Heisman Trophy winner, who played his football here at the L.A. Coliseum for Southern California. And his running mate, Kurt McClendon, has come out now, a great blocker, and the outstanding football player in the American Football League, Lenny Dawson. So today, the Chiefs backfield will find Lenny Dawson at quarterback, McClendon at fullback, blocking for Mike Garrett, and out wide, an outstanding receiver, the AFL's #1 pass target, Otis Taylor. Freddie Arbanis will man the tight end, and Chris Burbert will be the split end. Kansas City's got a big offensive line. Matter of fact, they weigh 18 pounds per man more than do the Green Bay Packers front four. Now the Green Bay Packers are coming out. Fine center's coming out, and Bill Curry. The thing about the Green Bay Packer club, they're sound as a dollar. Vince Lombardi doesn't use a lot of plays, but what they do, they execute so well. Like Cheryl Hedrick told me, the middle linebacker of the Kansas City Chiefs, the more you see Green Bay on film, the more they impress you. And up front, they've got people like Fuzzy Thurston. They've got Kramer, a great guard, a tremendous blocker. They've also got Forrest Gregg, who actually is idolized by Jerry Mays, the man he will play against today. Bob Skoronski's a great football player. The tight end spot, this Marv Fleming will be a hard man to contain. Boyd Dowler playing split end is always hard to beat. And Carroll Dale has really developed into being a great bomb threat for the Green Bay Packers. At quarterback, of course, there's Bart Starr. Jimmy Taylor's the outstanding fullback for this club. Last year he picked up 97 yards rushing in the championship game. And a running back, of course, that's going to be Elijah Pitts. So the Kansas City Chiefs warming up on the far sideline. They are donned in white. The Green Bay Packers, with their yellow helmets, they're wearing their green jerseys today and also their yellow trousers, warming up on the near sideline, and Vince Lombardi and his staff talking to them. You've got to be impressed with the coaching styles of these two coaches. Both men are dedicated to football. Both men are real precise when it comes to getting ready for a football game. The personality of these two men entirely different. Vince Lombardi, a guy that is very dedicated to the game of football, doesn't smile too often, but he has tremendous respect and probably has as great a respect as any coach in America today. Doesn't say too much to the press, but what he does say, people should listen to. Hank Stram, a very personable, enthusiastic fellow, a guy who actually enjoys his relationship with the press. He's the type of fellow who believes in winning, the type of guy that believes in getting along with his football players so they can do a better job. The referee is out there in the center of the gridiron. The captains have talked it over. For Kansas City, Jerry Mays, along with John Gillum. And for the Green Bay Packers, Bob Skoronski is coming back along with Willie Davis. Now with every thrilling play on CBS Radio this afternoon, the voice of CBS Radio, Jack Drees.
Thank you, Tom. The teams break from the sidelines now to move out on the field to start this historic game. The Kansas City Chiefs, champions of the American Football League, against the Green Bay Packers, champions of the National Football League. Herb Adderley and Donnie Anderson are going back to receive the opening kickoff. And teeing up the football, Fletcher Smith will kick off for the Kansas City Chiefs. The ball is teed on the 40-yard line. Fletcher Smith moves back. Anderson and Adderley await the kickoff. Adderley just about at the 5. Anderson standing on about the 3-yard line to the right as he and Adderley form their relationship. The kick is in the air, and it's going to be Herb Adderley taking the ball on the 6-yard line up to the 15. He swings to the right, gets to the 20. His cutback takes him to the 25, and he is dropped right along the 25-yard line by Bobby Bell, number 78. So with the ball on the 25, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Green Bay Packers. And so this game is underway. And all the questions are about to be answered as this fledgling American Football League moved to a par with the perennial, almost NFL champion Green Bay Packers. Bart Starr at quarterback. He's got Elijah Pitts and Jimmy Taylor as his running backs. And he gives the ball to Jim Taylor. Taylor doesn't find much of a hole in the line, but he's able to bust through, carry tacklers with him, and take the ball up to the 29-yard line for a pickup of 4 with E.J. Holub, the right side linebacker, and number 58, the left tackle, Andy Rice, combining on the stop. So it'll make it 2nd down and 6 yards to go for Green Bay. This game just underway. Boyd Dowler goes out to the right side, but sits there as a more or less tight end. They have a single flanker out to the left. That's Carroll Dale. But the ball is given over to Elijah Pitts on the Green Bay sweep, and he cuts inside his blockers to take that ball up to the 34-yard line. Hit there by Johnny Robinson. The ball on the 34, and it's a yard short of a 1st down. It'll be 3rd and 1. Now, this is not a long yardage situation, of course, but Bart Starr has been almost phenomenal through the NFL season on his ability to execute the 3rd down play for that all-important first down. He's got Carroll Dale out very wide to the right this time. Boyd Dollar, the flanker back, is set to the left side, but in fairly tight. Starr looks it over, gives to Jimmy Taylor. Taylor has the first down. He was almost hit behind the line of scrimmage by E.J. Holland, but he bounced off E.J., went across the 35 out to the 37-yard line where Willie Mitchell came up to make the tackle. And it's 1st and 10 for Green Bay with the ball on their own 37. So the first down of this game is recorded. Now Carroll Dale goes out wide to the right side. Boyd Dollar flanked to the left. And Bart Starr goes back to throw his first forward pass. He whistles one downfield for Boyd Dollar that was low and outside. He couldn't get to it. He was closely covered there by Johnny Robinson, number 42, and Willie Mitchell, number 22.
That's the thing I kind of anticipate that Kansas City will do defensively. They will come up and try to support with the fine safety men like Robinson and Hunt. The outside people, I think, are vulnerable in Freddie Williamson and Willie Mitchell. I think Green Bay realizes that. That's why I think Robinson, a great free safety, and Hunt will help them out a lot.
So that makes it 2nd down and 10 yards to go for Bart Starr and his Green Bay Packers. The line of scrimmage is their own 37-yard line. End and flanker are both set out now. Starr goes back to throw once again, looks right, is caught and thrown for a loss. Storming through there was Big Buck Buchanan, 287 pounds of right tackle, who literally blew through that line of scrimmage, caught Bart Starr as he was still going back, and dropped him back on the 27-yard line for a loss of 10. So, American Football League fans around this country of ours can take heart. Green Bay is not invulnerable.
Jack, that fellow, when he used to weigh 230 pounds, ran at 220 and 22.5, and he's considered to be the best all-round defensive tackle in the league.
3rd down and 20 yards to go. So Bart Starr has a real 3rd down situation to look at now. He floods the left side with 2 receivers. Drops back to throw, is in trouble again, and they've got him again. Down he goes. That time, the first to hit him was Jerry Mays, coming in from left end, and then Bobby Bell, the left side linebacker, shot through, and then Chuck Hurston. So Bart Starr had a lot of company from the other side. And that puts the ball back on the 22, a loss of 5 yards. And that must give a great psychological lift to the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going into punt formation now as they're out of downs. Numbers 18 and 21 are the deep men. 18, Emmett Thomas. 21, Mike Garrett. Don Chandler to do the kicking. Ball is going back. It's taken by Mike Garrett. Garrett gets away from the first tackler. He's on his own 30. He gets up to the 35, then is caught from behind and dropped down. Making the stop in there, Tommy Crutcher. So the ball now goes to Kansas City for the first time in the game on the 37-yard line. Now they come out into their I formation. Curtis McClintock, the first man right behind the quarterback, and then Mike Garrett. Garrett shifts out of the I, off to the right, and now goes in motion, still farther out to the right. Lenny Dawson rolling out to the left side to throw. Arches one for the sidelines, and it is caught out of bounds. Making the stab at it was Chris Burford, but he couldn't keep his feet in bounds. While he made the catch, he was beyond the sideline, so it is an incomplete forward pass. Bob Jeter and Herb Adderley were both over there attempting to cover Chris Burford, but Burford becomes rather difficult to cover. A fast man with good hands and height. He's 6'3", weighs 210 pounds. So the Kansas City Chiefs with no score in this ball game. Break from their huddle. Burford is going out wide to the left side. The flanker, Otis Taylor, now slides out to the right after lining up tight. The eye is shifted into a wing to the right. The ball is given to Mike Garrett. Garrett is caught and gets away, and then takes the ball out to the 41-yard line. He was in the grasp of 3 tacklers and suddenly spurted loose and picked up about 4 more yards. He takes it out now to the 41, and Kostelnik finally brought him down. Tom?
That's the thing that Mike Garrett does best. He's a great trouble runner, inside from tackle to tackle. It looks like he's going down, but this guy has great balance and tremendous instinct. I saw him one time on a run this year in Boston when he got 13 yards. 8 Boston Patriots hit him, but he continued to drive. And this guy naturally wanted to come back home and have a great game.
It's 3rd down now and 6 yards to go. The ball on their own 41-yard line. Burford is out wide to the left. Otis Taylor flanked to the right. Garrett and McClintock, the running backs. Len Dawson at quarterback, drops back to throw. Throws a quick one out there for Burford. Burford makes the catch across the 50. Is upended and dropped on the 47-yard line by Bob Jeter. The ball now is on the Green Bay 47. And it's a first down for the Kansas City Chiefs. There is no score in this ball game, but Kansas City thus far has done the most in the way of gaining yardage. The Green Bay Packers picked up a first down, but then Bart Starr was thrown for successive losses, and they had to kick to the Kansas City Chiefs, who have it now on the Green Bay 47-yard line. Len Dawson gives the ball to Mike Garrett, and Garrett can't make it. He gets up to about the line of scrimmage, and that's all. He's caught and thrown back as they really stacked up the line as he tried to go over the left guard position. The first of several to hit him was Henry Jordan, 250-pound tackle and a 10-year veteran in the National Football League. So now the Kansas City Chiefs are back in their huddle once again. The line of scrimmage is still the 47. It's second down and 10 yards to go. No score in the game. This is Jack Dries with Tom Hendrick talking to you from the Los Angeles Coliseum. Now we're ready for the ball to be put in play, but they took a little too much time, I believe. Or perhaps it's just a timeout being called. No. Delay of the game penalty taking too much time, and that puts the ball back 5 yards and puts it back now on the Kansas City side of the midfield stripe on their own 48.
The game plan today against the Green Bay Packers defense is the thing we saw. What they're doing is widening out their ends. They're going into a lot of slot and wing formations, giving the Green Bay front four less time to react, plus their linebackers less time.
Now they've made the shift out of the eye, have a single flanker out. Len Dawson rolls out to the right side, flips one downfield. A diving catch by Burford, but he landed out of bounds again. Two great catches by Burford, but both of them have been out of bounds. Sam Brown was over-covering on the play, but had no chance to bother Burford. And so it's an incomplete forward pass, and makes it second down now, and let's see, third down and 15 yards to go.
Jack, one thing they thought they might do is go at Tom Brown with Chris Burford out of the slot formation. Otis Taylor's wide. The cornerback Adderley's got to pick him up. But with Chris coming as a slot back, the safety's got to pick him up, and he's got more size and more speed.
Otis Taylor wide to the right. Flanked out there. The shift is to the left now, sending Garrett out into a slot back position just inside Chris Burford. Back goes Dawson to pass. Straight back. This time he's hurried on the throw, and he overthrew Otis Taylor, who was covered by Herb Adderley. At that time, the rush was on with Ron Kostelnik filing through there, and Len Dawson, who that time threw from the traditional pocket, had to throw in a hurry, and that runs them out of downs, and so they'll have to punt now to Green Bay. And Bob Jeter is back with Donnie Anderson. No, it's Willie Wood. Willie Wood, number 24, with Anderson. The punt is on its way, and Anderson takes it right on the 5-yard line. He swings out to his left, picks up his first block, picks up another, out to the 15, and is caught from behind and dropped at the 21 or 22-yard line. Stopper in there put on by Bud Abel. Donnie Anderson on the punt return, taking it on his 5, bringing it out to the 20. His knee hit the ground just across the 20-yard line. It's a little across it, but it'll be Green Bay's ball, 1st and 10 at that point. Chuck Hurston was shaken up on the play and is being assisted to the sidelines for Kansas City. No score in the game. 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line for the Packers. Bart Starr, quarterback, Taylor and Pitts are the running backs. Elijah Pitts takes the handoff this time, swings out outside the tackle, is hit once at the 22, which is the line of scrimmage, is able to bounce off that tackle and get up to around the 23, 24-yard line. Fred Williamson was the first to hit him. Bobby Hunt came in to make the stop. So it'll be second down and 7 yards to go. Tom?
Defensively, Kansas City right now in a 5-man front. They're going to give Green Bay about 3 or 4 different defenses, trying to confuse the great quarterback Bart Starr and give him less time to react.
Harold Dale is sent out wide to the left side. Max McGee has come in, and he is out to the right. Starr goes back to throw. A quick one over the middle. One-handed catch by Marv Fleming, his tight end. He grabbed that ball with one hand. Juggled it for just a split second, held it in spite of being hit, took it out to the 34-yard line for a first down. Tackle made by Bobby Bell, number 78. And so the ball now is set out to the 34-yard line, 1st and 10 for Green Bay. No score in this game as yet. The championship of the professional football world between the Green Bay Packers, titleists of the National Football League, and the American League conquerors, the Kansas City Chiefs. 1st and 10. Bart Starr back to throw once again. Looking, in trouble once more, gets away, and throws one complete to Elijah Pitts at the 50. Pitts is down to the 45, dropped on the 43-yard line. 44-yard line make it. They move it back about a half a yard. Bart Starr under a big rush again. Was able to elude the rush that time and hit Elijah Pitts. Aaron Brown coming in. Timeout is called on the field with the score Kansas City nothing, Green Bay nothing. Now we're about ready to resume play. The line of scrimmage is now on the Kansas City 44-yard line. The first time Green Bay has been across that midfield stripe today. There is no score in this ball game. This is Jack Drees with Tom Hedrick speaking to you from the Coliseum in Los Angeles in the Super Bowl. Now we're ready to go as the Packers come out of the huddle and line up over the ball. End and flanker are both out. It's a pitch out. It comes back to Jimmy Taylor. Taylor giving ground, trying to get room, and he can't. E.J. Holub is storming through there to break up the interference and make the tackle. Tremendous defensive play. Forward progress rule stop back just on the Kansas City side of the 50. We'll call it the Kansas City 49-yard line.
Great story about E.J. Holub. He's had no less than 7 knee operations, but is having his finest year. He's a great reaction guy, 6'4" and 236, and would probably rather play football than ride a horse or eat.
Second down now and 15 yards to go with the loss on that play. Back goes Bart Starr to throw once more. And he whips one upfield, completes it to Carroll Dale, who had to skid to a sitting position to make the catch, but he grabbed it with the ball now down on the Kansas City 37-yard line. Tackle Johnny Robinson coming over there. Cheryl Hedrick, the middle linebacker, backing off on pass coverage, coming in to help out on the play. Ball now is at the Kansas City, about the 37-yard line, and it's third down now and 3 yards to go. 3rd and 3 for Bart Starr. No score in this game as yet. We're in the first quarter of play. Starr looks over the Kansas City defense. Has an end and flanker out. Drops back to throw. Is Rush. Gets the ball away. Passes it complete to Max McGee at the 15. And he's all alone going into the end zone. So Green Bay has struck. Chuck Hurston came flying through there from his right end position for Kansas City and actually established contact with Bart Starr. But Starr had a veteran campaigner and a great clutch receiver in the ball game in Max McGee. And when he hit him at the 15-yard line, McGee turned around and found no one between him and the goal line, and so Green Bay has scored. Don Chandler has come in now to try for the extra point. Bart Starr will hold. A 37-yard TD strike by the Green Bay Packers. Chandler's kick is in the air, and it is good. So timeout is called on the field of play with the score, Green Bay 7, Kansas City nothing. Ready now for the kickoff. Chandler moves forward, puts the ball in the air. Mike Garrett is moving over to get under it, and he takes it on the 2-yard line. He's back up to the 10. Zigging now, he gets across the 15, gets away from the first tackler to the 20, and is out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Not out of bounds over there by number 68, Gail Gillingham. Penalty marker on the field. I wish I could give you an intelligent idea on how much time is left in this game, but they're using one of those scoreboard clocks that spell out the numbers on little electric lights, and the sun is shining right on it. Perhaps as the sun continues to go down, we will have a better idea of what the remaining time is as this game goes along. Penalty being chalked up against Kansas City. And it is a holding penalty next against them, and it sets him back now to the, call it the 13-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 on the 13-yard line for the Kansas City Chiefs, who now trail in the ball game 7-0. 5 minutes and 54 seconds left. Better eyes than mine have informed me in the first quarter. Chris Burford goes out wide to the left side. Otis Taylor is to the right. Lenny Dawson going back, faking the draw pay, dropping back around his own tree. He's in trouble back there, and he starts to run, and he's going to run. He gets out to the 20-yard line, and then he is brought down hard by Ray Nitschke, the all-pro middle linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. He got just across the 20 by the length of the football, so it's a pickup of 7 on the play. Tom?
Len Dawson, when he has to, will scramble. He would rather not. In the Buffalo game 2 weeks ago, he had big gains of 20 and 11 yards, and on given years, he will average between 7 and 8 yards per carry. And as you know, a quarterback, when he's under pressure, must scramble to get his football team moving.
Otis Taylor now is sent over to the left side, along with Chris Burford. That ought to give Green Bay a little bit of a headache. They got them both on the same side of the field. Let's see what Lenny Dawson does about it. He's back to throw, and he throws to Mike Garrett behind the line of scrimmage, and Garrett is caught at the 23-yard line. Coming in there to make the tackle was Lionel Aldridge. Burford and Taylor went down deep, and Mike Garrett trailed along, hoping to find an empty area when he caught that pass, but it wasn't entirely empty, as Aldridge was there to make the stop. And so it puts the ball on the 23, a pickup of 3 yards on the play. And bringing it out now to see whether or not a first down is recorded. Chains are brought out, and by a little better than the length of the football, the Kansas City Chiefs have picked up a first down. The score is Green Bay 7, Kansas City nothing. A little better than 5 minutes to play in the first quarter of the game. Chiefs are back in their huddle. Green Bay has panned out now to meet them defensively. Otis Taylor comes out very wide to the right side. Out of the I formation in the backfield. Shift into a normal running formation. Chris Burford wide to the left. There's a quick throw to Burford, and pass interference is going to be called against Bob Jeter. Jeter came storming in on Burford and nailed him before the ball got to him. The timing on that defensive maneuver, going for the player instead of the ball, has to be very precise. And that time it wasn't quite precise enough. So the pass interference call will give them the ball at the 29-yard line, between the 28 and 29, and also give for Kansas City a first down. We'll call it the 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Split-end and flanker are set to the same side once again, both out to the right, but this time the ball is given to Curtis McClintock, the fullback, and McClintock, carrying the ball for the first time today for Kansas City, was able to punch his way up to around the 33-yard line, perhaps the 32. Yes, it is the 32 that they put it down. Ball on the 32. Ray Nitschke was in on that stop along with Ron Kostelnik.
If Kansas City is to be effective offensively, they've got to run well at Green Bay, because that's been their trademark. They allow a lot of like a play action, and they can't throw the ball effectively unless they're able to hurt Green Bay running straight at them.
Second down now, and about 7 yards to go. Dawson rolling out to the left. Looks for someone, pegs one down there, and passes it complete to Fred Arbanis. Arbanis makes the grab at the 49 and is tackled there immediately. Making the stop was Leroy Cappy. Ball on their own 49-yard line. That's a first down for the Kansas City Chiefs. Green Bay has gotten out into the lead via a 37-yard touchdown pass from Bart Starr to Max McGee, 7-0. 3.5 minutes left to play now in the first quarter of the game.
Arbanis, as you know, was injured 2 weeks ago. He hurt his left shoulder, has come back the last 3 days, and has looked very good. He told me he would play today even if Lamar Hunt had to buy him a new shoulder.
Taylor shifting out now, goes out very wide as a flanker to the right side. Len Dawson takes the ball. On the draw play, gives to Mike Garrett. Garrett finds a hole off tackle to the left, slices through it, takes it well into Green Bay territory as he moves that ball down to around the Green Bay 41-yard line. They're calling for a timeout. Timeout is called on the field of play with the score Green Bay 7, Kansas City nothing. Jack Drees with Tom Hedrick speaking to you from Los Angeles, the Coliseum, the scene of the Super Bowl. The meeting for the World Championship between the American Football League champions Kansas City and the NFL titleist Green Bay. With Green Bay in the lead 7-0, but with Kansas City in possession on the Green Bay 41-yard line. Second down, 1 yard to go now for the Kansas City Chiefs. Single flanker out. Dawson back to throw. Looks, can't find the man. Has to run away from trouble. He's going to try to run for the first down. Gets inside the 40-yard line, then is hit and knocked back across it. Forward progress rule stopped on the 39, and that's enough for a first down. If the play stands up, no penalty flags down. It's a 1st and 10 for Kansas City as Dawson runs with it again. Tom?
On that second down one situation, the Chiefs quarterback lined up his team in a double tight end alignment. In other words, they had only one flanker back wide. Now, Hank Stram does this to get an extra double team block, and he actually introduced this into pro football in 1962 in the AFL championship game at Houston.
Now, both Otis Taylor, the flanker, and Chris Burford, the split end, are set to the right side. Dawson gives the ball to Mike Garrett. Garrett is caught behind the line and thrown down by Dave Robinson. Dave Robinson, coming over from his left linebacker position, caught him and threw him for a loss at the 40-yard line. It's a loss of 1 yard to make it second down and 11. 1 minute and 50 seconds left to play now in the first quarter. Tom?
Gale Sayers of the Bears told me the other day the most underrated linebacker in the Green Bay team is Dave Robinson. He said he plays the outside runs and the swing passes as well as anybody in the NFL today.
Now with a 2nd and 11, the ball on the Green Bay 40-yard line. Kansas City comes up, splitting up that partnership of Burford and Taylor this time, making Burford a tight end to the left, sending Garrett in motion out to the left side. Lenny Dawson rolls out to the left as he takes the snap, sees his target, throws one downfield for Burford, who was very closely covered by Willie Wood. Couldn't get loose to get after the football, and the ball sailed well over the head of both receiver and defender. Incomplete forward pass, and it's going to make it 3rd down and 11 yards to go. This broadcast coming to you over CBS Radio, one of 4 consecutive weeks of high-powered, exciting football that began with the NFL championship game, went to the playoff bowl in Miami, now this Super Bowl, and next week, the Pro Bowl. 70 of the world's best football players, stars of the Eastern and Western Conferences of the National Football League, from the same arena next Sunday on your CBS Radio network. Ready now to put the ball in play. A 3rd down, 11-yard to go situation. Dawson back, throws one up the middle. He passes complete. Catch made by Reg Carolyn, but he made the catch along the 33-yard line, which is well short of a 1st down. Ray Nitschke there to make the tackle. And so, running out of downs, a field goal attempt now from the 40-yard line. Mike Mercer to do the kicking. Len Dawson will hold. Ball is placed down. The kick is in the air. It is long enough, but it is wide to the left, and the kick is no good. The score holds at 7-0. Mike Mercer kicking and sent it to the left of the uprights. The score holds at 7-0 as the Packers take over now with the touchback, putting it in their possession, 1st and 10 on the 20. Tom?
Normally, Mike Mercer would kick that one. For some reason, he didn't quite get into the football properly. He kicked 3 field goals of 47 or more yards this year and kicked 20 of 26 field goals in the regular season play, the top mark in pro football.
Not ready to put the ball in play as yet. The Packers are standing in sort of a loose huddle around their 10-yard line. The Kansas City Chiefs defensive squad waiting for the Packers to come up. I mentioned that this is one of a series of great football broadcasts through the first 4 weeks of January, coming to you over CBS Radio. It is also being carried via Armed Forces Radio to our service personnel around the world. One of the many sports broadcasts being your way and theirs. The Triple Crown of Racing, which is not too far away as I think about it. The Masters Golf Tournament, these postseason football games, and now this one is about ready to resume. 30 seconds left to play in the first quarter. The Packers have the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Carroll Dale is out wide to the right side as a single flanker. Bart Starr gives the ball to his fullback, Jimmy Taylor. Taylor is collared as he goes through the line, but is able to power his way up to about the 23. Stopper was made by Buck Buchanan, number 86. A 4-year veteran from Grambling who was 6 feet 7 inches tall, weighs 287 pounds. Tom?
Coach Stram is trying to create a mismatch here because the Green Bay center, Bill Curry, is 6'2 and 235, and Buchanan is playing over his nose right now as a middle guard.
2nd down and 7. And there's the gun before the play could get off. That's the end of the first period with the score Green Bay 7, Kansas City nothing. Now we're about ready to start the second quarter of play. Max McGee has gone in once again. He's replacing Boyd Dollar at the flanker position. McGee caught the pass on the 37-yard touchdown strike thrown by Bart Starr, caught it on the 15, and then there was nobody left in the Kansas City defense, and he rambled on in for the score, and that is the only score of the game. This is Jack Drees with Tom Hedrick speaking to you from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. As the Packers now get ready to go, 2nd down, 7 yards to go is the situation at the start of the second quarter of play. End and flanker, both Art Starr goes back to pass, pitches one for Max McGee too high. McGee went way up in the air, was able to perhaps tip the ball with one hand, but it was an incomplete forward pass. So that'll make it 3rd down and 7 yards to go. The line of scrimmage, Green Bay's own 23. Tom?
Number 75, Jerry Mays, put the rush on that time, and he's playing against his high school and collegiate idol. That's Forrest Gregg. The reason Mays wears 75 is because Forrest Gregg wears number 75. Both men played their collegiate football at SMU.
Carroll Dale goes out wide to the left. McGee out to the right side. Starr back to throw. Pitches one for Carroll Dale. He juggles it, can't hold it. It falls to the ground incomplete. Carroll Dale had his hands on the ball, but Mitchell had his hands on Carroll Dale, and the belting of the contact shook things up and prevented the pass completion. But I see a penalty flag down back along the area of the line of scrimmage. And the conversation is being directed toward Kansas City. Norm Schachter, the referee, now indicates illegal procedure against Green Bay, but immediately indicates that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to decline that penalty, preferring to take the down. So that makes it now 4th down. And about 7 yards to go, forcing Green Bay to punt. Emmett Thomas and Mike Garrett are the deep men. Don Chandler punting. And he sends a line drive punt downfield to be taken by Emmett Thomas. He's got it on his 28 and runs around a couple of early Green Bay defenders to get up to the 30. Then is hit just beyond the 30 and dropped on about the 34-yard line. Stopper made by Doug Hart, coming in there along with Steve Bright. So it belongs to Kansas City now. 1st and 10 on their own 34-yard line. Score in the ball game: Green Bay 7, Kansas City nothing. Otis Taylor going out wide to the right side. Chris Burford splits out a little bit, about 5 yards from the left tackle. The tight end is set to the right. Lenny Dawson rolls to the right, being chased now. He throws it back to the left, passes it complete to Mike Garrett along the 34. Garrett shakes loose, gets up to the 40. He's at the 45, heading for the sidelines now, hemmed in by Packers. He is finally dropped on the Green Bay 49-yard line. A brilliant run by Mike Garrett. It took that pass right along the line of scrimmage and then just finessed Green Bay Packers right and left as he went down to the 49 where Willie Wood finally made the tackle. Willie Davis, left end for the Packers, was through on a big rush and got this play started.
They kid Mike Garrett a lot about being too small to play pro football. Well, if there were any doubts in anybody's mind, he certainly proved it on that big 14-yard game.
High formation by the Kansas City Chiefs, waiting for the shift. We've got Bert Cohn in there now, relieving Mike Garrett for a play or two, and Cohn takes the handoff. He slashes into the middle of the line, and he's down to about the 46 before he is finally stopped. Ray Nitschke was in on that one. So, too, was Lionel Aldridge. And that makes it on the 46-yard line, a pickup of 3 yards, 2nd down and 7 yards to go for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have been able to move consistently against the Green Bay Packers, but not as yet on the end of the field where it counted. So they're now 46 yards away from the Packer goal line. Green Bay is in the lead in the ball game by a 7-0 score, and we're early in the second quarter of play. Chris Burford and Otis Taylor are both set wide to the left side. But the ball is given to Curtis McClinton. And McClinton, the fullback for the Kansas City Chiefs, really popped through that line. A quick opening play, and McClinton was through there like a shot to take that ball to the Green Bay 40-yard line. 3rd down now and 1 yard to go. Tom?
The game plan was to do two things with the Packers. Number one, run straight at them, which you have seen a lot of. This is something most teams don't feel they can do, but Kansas City's got size and speed. And number two, throw on a square-out pattern between the linebacker and the cornerbacks, and thus far, it's been fairly successful.
Split end and flanker both set to the right side this time. Once again, Bert Cohn takes the handoff, and as he tries to go just inside the left tackle hole, he is caught along the line of scrimmage. Caught there by Caffey. He is able to get only to about the 38-yard line. Between the 37 and 38, but it is enough for a 1st down. Call it the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Green Bay in front, 7-0 here early in the second quarter of play. Burford comes out wide to the left side. Single flanker is out this time. Back goes Len Dawson to throw. Has lots of time. Looks downfield. Throws one for Otis Taylor. Taylor makes the catch on the 7-yard line. Is caught immediately, but Kansas City now is knocking on the door. Tom Brown, covering, was able to tackle Otis Taylor, but not able to prevent the catch. Lenny Dawson, with enough time to start the first chapter of a book, waited and waited until his patterns developed and then pitched one to his speedy flanker, Otis Taylor, and it's 1st and goal to go on the 7.
That Taylor continues to do that. He's big and strong, and that time the Packers were covering him man for man. Johnny Sample said you just can't cover that guy one-on-one, and so did Bernie Parrish, who was a great cornerback in the National Football League for Cleveland.
Single flanker formation now for Kansas City. Dawson back to throw, heads for the end zone, throws one to Curtis McClinton, the fullback, complete, and a touchdown.
That is what you call play action, Jack, and this is what Kansas City likes to do inside the 10-yard line. Fake the run. The backs do a great job of faking. The quarterback rolled behind the left tackle, straightened up and popped that lob to Kurt McClinton, who was running to the flag, and McClinton grabbed it and went in to score to now make it 7-6, Kansas City trailing by 1 as Mercer comes in to kick.
Mike Mercer to try for the extra point. Len Dawson will hold. The score at the moment is at 7-6, the extra point attempt coming up. And the kick is good. Timeout is called on the field of play with the score. Kansas City 7, Green Bay 7. Now we're ready for the kickoff. Fletcher Smith will do the kicking. Donnie Anderson and Herb Adderley to receive. 10 minutes and 41 seconds now left to play in the second quarter of this game, and it's all tied up at 7-7. Kickoff is in the air and going deep. Donnie Anderson waits for it, takes it on the 2-yard line. He's up to the 10, to the 15, still going straight. Now he veers to the right to get to the 25. Is tackled there and dropped on about the 27-yard line. Walt Corey coming in to make the stop for Kansas City. To be first and 10 for Green Bay on their own 27, with the ball game all knotted up at 7 apiece.
Houston general manager Don Klosterman thought the second score today would be the big one. He said if Green Bay makes it 14-0, it may be a long day, but if Kansas City can come back and tie it or score first, they'll be in the ball game all the way, which they have done.
Split end is out very wide to the left side. The flankers playing fairly tight. Elijah Pitts taking the handoff, tries it off to the left side, going between the guard and the tackle, and is able to work his way up to about the 33-yard line. So it'll be a pickup of 6 to make it second down and 4. Kansas City is out in front in the first down department, 9-4. Now the Green Bay Packers breaking the huddle. They move up into formation. They've got Carroll Dale wide to the left. Max McGee up the flankers playing fairly tight. And Jimmy Taylor taking the handoff is hit behind the line of scrimmage, fights loose in the first 2 tacklers, gets up across the 35 and is dropped on about the 37-yard line. Chuck Hurston coming in to make the stop. Ball at the 37. So that's going to make a third down now and a yard to go. In forward passing, Starr is 4 for 6. Dawson is 7 for 11. Third down and a yard to go now for the Green Bay Packers. Tight line formation, indicating the running play, but Bart Starr crosses them up, floats one down the middle of Carroll Dale, who catches it in the clear, and is going to go all the way. 10, 5, and in there for a touchdown. Penalty flag on the field. Wait a minute. Penalty marker on the field. This one may come back. 63 yards as Bart Starr floated a pass to Carroll Dale, who had everybody fooled, caught it all along and kept right on going, but the ball is being called back. Norm Schachter giving the call. It is illegal procedure, and it looked like the call was against Bob Skoransky, the tackle, because he was the one doing most of the arguing. The linemen coming up off their three-point stance before the snap of the ball. And so instead of a 63-yard TD, it is a 5-yard penalty. And it is third down now and 6 yards to go. With the ball on the 32-yard line, 3rd and 6. Bob Long is in now for Green Bay, and he's out wide to the right side. Bart Starr back to throw. Pegs one up the middle to Max McGee. McGee takes the ball along the 42. That's enough for a first down. He's dropped there. Tackle being made by Johnny Robinson, the right safety man. But the ball at the 42 is sufficient for a first down, a 10-yard pickup on the play. And so Green Bay still retains possession. This is Jack Drees with Tom Hedrick speaking to you from the Los Angeles Coliseum. It's the Super Bowl. Kansas City of the American Football League against Green Bay of the National, playing for the world title. Edmund Flanker both out. Carroll Dale is wide to the left side. Bob Long is set out wide to the right. Back goes Bart Starr to throw one. Aims for the sidelines. It's low and outside as he was attempting to hit Carroll Dale along the sidelines, closely covered by Mitchell. Pass is incomplete. Willie Mitchell staying right with Carroll Dale on that one. And matter of fact, about as close as a couple of coats of paint. Tom?
Early in the ball game, they were attacking the Chiefs cornerback, Willie Mitchell. He got burned badly on the touchdown. Then on that play to Dale, it was called back. He's regained his confidence. He came back and played that run real well. And like any good cornerback or safety will tell you, he can't cover well unless there's good pressure up front, which the Chiefs put on quarterback Bart Starr.
Dale goes out wide to the left once again. Bob Long out to the right side. The end and flanker in a normal pro set. Starr going back to throw. Looks out to the right, then throws to the left. And that one intended for Elijah Pitts was low and outside. And Pitts covered by E.J. Holub, and it's incomplete. That last incomplete forward pass may be a matter of vital importance to Bart Starr, however. He had Elijah Pitts covered one-on-one by a linebacker. So that formation might be something that Bart Starr will just file away. He's back to throw once more. Out to the left he goes again, and this time he passes complete to Carroll Dale, who, as he catches the ball at the 43-yard line of Kansas City's, is upended immediately by Johnny Robinson. Ball on the Kansas City 43-yard line. That's a first down. The score in the ball game is 7-7. Tom?
Johnny Robinson, who made the tackle, said before the game this would be a day of first and tens and third down plays. 6 times Green Bay has had a third down situation, and 4 times they've come through with a big play.
Starr gives the ball to Jimmy Taylor. He's trying it around to the left, gets to the 40-yard line, and then is bumped out of bounds just inside the 40. Willie Mitchell, number 22. Cornerback for Kansas City on the right side was over there as the play went in his direction to get him out of bounds. Call it the 39-yard line. Second down now, and about 6.5 yards, 7 yards to go. Bob Long is sent over to the left side this time. Marv Fleming, the tight end, is over there making a flanker out of Long. Carroll Dale is wide to the right, has the split end. This time Elijah Pitts takes the handoff from Bart Starr, punches into the middle but can't make much. He got that ball to about the 38-yard line. 6 minutes, 48 seconds left to play in the first half of this game. The ball game tied at 7-7. Green Bay in possession. They have the ball now. Third down and about 5 yards to go. The ball just short of the Kansas City 38-yard line. Long is wide to the left. Carroll Dale wide to the right side. A 3rd and 5 situation looking at Bart Starr. He drops straight back to throw, has good protection. Takes one out there to his tight end, Marv Fleming, who made a great grab of that football to make the catch at the 27-yard line. He went high in the air, caught it just on his fingertips, was hit at the moment of catching it by Johnny Robinson, but still was able to hold on to that ball. So that's another first down for the Green Bay Packers. And it puts the ball now just short of the Kansas City 27-yard line. Carroll Dale coming out wide to the right side. Max McGee has come back in, is playing a tight end to the left. And the ball is given to Jimmy Taylor, and Jimmy Taylor, head down, goes into the proverbial stone wall. There was nothing there, no room at all to squeeze a letter opener through. And so he was able to power and shove and grunt his way down just inside the 25. But that was it. It's a pickup of a little better than 2 yards. Call it 3. It'll be second down, about 7 yards to go. Jerry Mays, the left end, and Buck Buchanan, the right tackle, combined to make the stop on the play. We'll call it the 25-yard line. Second and about 7. The ball is just inside the 25. End and flanker out for Green Bay. Starr looking over that Kansas City defense. On a draw play, he gives it to Elijah Pitts. And Pitts, too, finds that Kansas City front line of defense very, very stubborn. And he was able to take it to the 24-yard line. A pickup, actually, of less than a yard since the ball was about halfway there. Andy Rice, the left tackle, Buck Buchanan, the right tackle, were immovable on the play and brought down the ball carrier. Not fooled at all by the fake of the forward pass, which ended up in the draw play, and it's now on the 24. It's third down and still about 7 yards to go. So with the 3rd and 7, let's see what Bart Starr comes up with now. Back he goes to throw. The protection is holding up. He flips one to Elijah Pitts, who again had E.J. Olive on the 1-1. And I thought Bart Starr would be looking to that one when a critical situation came along, and sure enough, he called the play. Put the linebacker man for man on a fast halfback, completed the pass to the 14-yard line, and that's a 1st and 10 for Green Bay.
That's the thing that Kansas City was worried about, those 5-man pass patterns where they check the blitz, which Kansas City normally does not do, and then swing the pass either to the fullback, Jimmy Taylor, on the right, or Pitts coming back on the left side.
4 minutes and 44 seconds left to play in the second quarter of the game. 1st and 10 on the 14-yard line. Jimmy Taylor, here's the Green Bay sweep. Taylor around to the left, breaks loose at the 5, and it's in there. There was a textbook execution of the Green Bay sweep. Both guards, Kramer and Thurston, out leading the play, both turned in their blocks. And Taylor all of a sudden had a free shot at that goal line, and he made the most of it. When he got down there, Chuck Thurston was able to make a grab at him, but he just got a free ride into the end zone, and the tie is broken. A 14-yard TD run by Jimmy Taylor. Now we're ready for the try for the extra point. Don Chandler to kick. Bart Starr holding. The snap is made. Here's the kick in the air. And it is good. Timeout is called on the field of play with the score, Green Bay 14, Kansas City 7. Green Bay caps off a march of 73 yards and 14 plays with a 14-yard perfect execution of the famed Green Bay power sweep going to the left. Jimmy Taylor carrying the ball in for the touchdown. The score now is 14-7, and we're getting ready for the kickoff. Back to receive that kick are Bert Cohn and Mike Garrett. So the Kansas City Chiefs, now wanting the most possible out of this run back, have put two of their best runners along the goal line. Chandler backs away from the football. Moves into it now. The kick is in the air. Mike Garrett moves up as the kick drops a little short to take it on the 6, across the 15 to the 20. Looking for blocking help. He stops for a moment, tries to zigzag away from Green Bay tacklers, but they're on him, and he is dropped just across the 25-yard line. Dave Hathcock coming up to make the tackle. So it'll be 1st and 10 on their own 26 for Kansas City.
Garrett originally made this ball club as a running back because of the job he did running back punts and running back kickoffs. In the opening ball game at Buffalo, he ran a punt back 79 yards, which was the best run we had all year in the AFL.
Kansas City now shifting out of the I formation. Curtis McClinton, the fullback, moves over to become a slot back to the right as they flood the right side with receivers, and Len Dawson rolls out to the left. The Packers are after him, and they've got him. Down he goes. Thrown for a loss back around the 18-yard line. Ryan Kostelnik, number 77, was in on that one. Lionel Aldridge was storming through there. He was hemmed in. Kostelnik making the stop, and the ball now is back at the 18. So it's an 8-yard loss. 2nd down and 18 yards to go for the Kansas City Chiefs. Green Bay now in the lead in the ball game, 14-7. Otis Taylor goes out wide to the right side as a single flanker. Shifting out of the I now. Chris Burford splits out to the left as a split end. Running backs in normal running position, but Dawson is going to throw. He's back looking, whips one up the middle on the rush, but is able to complete it. Arbanis making the catch, is hit hard as he grabs the ball along the 30-yard line. Might have been hit a little hard on that left shoulder. He's coming up. His left arm is holding limp along his side. That's the one I believe was injured, wasn't it, Tom?
It is.
And it looks like he's heading for the sidelines.
He certainly is, and that's the one that he hurt in the Buffalo game. He had a shot of Novocaine to try to numb it, but you can tell when he got hit and got that contact, he is unable to take that pain any longer, and so Reg Carolyn will come in the ball game at the tight end. He is 6'6" and weighs 238 and made 3 or 4 key catches during the regular season. The thing that he does, he catches the football better than Arbanis does, but with a running attack like Kansas City's, you need a great blocker like Fred Arbanis in there.
Carolyn is in now. There's a tight end set to the right. Ball right on the 30-yard line. 3rd down and 6. There's the throw. He takes it complete to Otis Taylor. Taylor is dropped as he gets across the 40-yard line. That's plenty for a 1st down. And the ball will be placed down, I believe, on the 41 or 42. We'll call it the 41. Ray Nitschke, the middle linebacker, and Tom Brown, the right safety, combining on the tackle for Green Bay. Ball at the 41-yard line, a gain of 11 yards for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's much to remind me, Tom, of the game played between the Dallas Cowboys and these Green Bay Packers. Green Bay getting off to a good start, but Kansas City staying right with it and staying right in the ball game. 1st and 10. Dawson back to throw. Again, the big rush is on. He throws one up the middle. A great grab by Chris Burford. Penalty flag is down. Boy, Burford made an unreal catch on that one. Down in the Green Bay 35. He went high in the air, grabbed the ball, was down on about the 31. Now let's see what this penalty call is. Dave Robinson coming there to make the tackle. Henry Jordan was the principal rusher, storming in. The penalty was against Green Bay, naturally declined by Kansas City. And they have the ball now on the Green Bay Packer 32-yard line. 1st and 10 on the Packer 32. The score in the ball game is 14-7, but you can't keep these Kansas City Chiefs down. Taylor goes out wide to the right side. Chris Burford is wide to the left. Len Dawson on a draw play gives it to Mike Garrett. Garrett can't quite get loose. Boy, he almost had it there. But a last-ditch dive by Ron Kostelnik, who read the draw at the last split second, was able to dive across the block attempting to trap him and get one ankle of Mike Garrett's, and that was able to bring him down at the 31-yard line. So it's a pickup of only a yard, a little better than a yard. It's actually between the 30 and 31. 2nd down and about 9 yards to go. 1 minute and 59 seconds. So both benches now are being warned, given the 2-minute warning. Kansas City has 2 timeouts remaining, which they can use in this 2-minute period, and Green Bay has all 3 of theirs. They're allowed 3 a half. This This is a standard set. End and flanker out. Running back split out on either side of the quarterback and about 3-4 yards behind him. The handoff this time is given over to Curtis McClinton, who fumbles the ball as he is hit by Henry Jordan, but was able to drop right back on it. That puts the ball on the 32-yard line, so they lost a yard on the play. And that'll make it third down now, and 10 yards to go. Clock is running, of course, because it was stopped. Play was stopped in bounds. We're in the final 2-minute period. Taylor is going out very wide to the right side. Chris Burford is split to the left. Dawson going back to throw. He arches a little one to Mike Garrett right over the middle of the line. Garrett now hunting for somewhere to go. Gets down inside the 25 and then is dropped as he gets to the 23-yard line. There was Dave Robinson, the left side linebacker, and Leroy Cappy, the right linebacker for Green Bay, combining to bring him down. Ball at the 24-yard line, a pickup of 8. It'll be 4th down and 2 yards to go. Kansas City is trailing by 7 points. Let's see what they're after here. It's going to be a field goal attempt with Mike Mercer coming out of the field. We've got exactly 1 minute left to play in the second quarter of this ball game. Green Bay 14, Kansas City 7. Kansas City on a 4th and 2 situation has brought Mike Mercer, their field goal kicker, onto the field, and they're calling for a timeout. A field goal attempted from here would be about a 31-yard attempt for Mike Mercer.
One of the main reasons Kansas City is playing here today is Mike Mercer, picked up in the third ball game of the season when Kansas City bowed 29-14 against Buffalo. Mike was on the Buffalo taxi squad, and after that loss, Hank Stram talked to the head football coach of Buffalo, Joe Collier, and picked him up. This fella, during the regular season, was able to kick 20 of 26 field goals. The day Kansas City sewed up the AFL championship against the Jets, he went 4 for 4 in the field goal kicking department. He's a real worker. He comes out and will kick between 50 and 80 footballs during almost every practice.
Well, he's got a big one to kick right now, Tom. He'll be kicking from the 31-yard line. Waiting now for the snap. Dawson is down. Kick is on its way. And it is good. A 31-yard field goal by Mercer is recorded, and that makes the score 14-10 in favor of the Green Bay Packers. Kansas City now will be kicking off to Green Bay with less than a minute to play in the second quarter of the game. Herb Adderley is going back there. Donnie Anderson is moving back to join him to receive the kick. And with the lead of 14-10, we can be fairly confident that Bart Starr will try no risky plays, preferring to maintain this lead and take it into the dressing room with him. Fletcher Smith now is on the field to do the kicking off for the Kansas City Chiefs. Smith tees the ball up very carefully along the 40-yard line. Backs away from it now. Adderley and Anderson waiting to receive the kick. And it is a poor kick that goes squirting down to around the 6-yard line, rolling along the ground. It's picked up there by Adderley, back across the 15, 20, 25, caught along the 25-yard line, dropped on about the 26. Smokey Stober and Jerry Mays were down under that kick and combined to make the tackle. One of the idiosyncrasies of this game is that the two leagues use slightly different football. Just a very slight difference. But each uses its own football on offense. And that time they kicked off with the American League football and now have switched to the NFL ball as the Packers prepare to put it in play. Ball on their own 26-yard line. First down and 10. Bart Starr gives the ball to Elijah Pitts. Pitts going off tackle. He is caught as he gets across the 30-yard line, dropped on about the 33. That was Jerry May, or Bobby Bell, rather, coming in on the tackle for Kansas City. Ball now at the 33-yard line. Second down and about 3 yards to go and 10 seconds left to play in the first half. The clock is running. And that's the end of it. The end of the first half, 14-10 Green Bay. The teams are on the field and spreading out across the field now for the kickoff of the second half. Green Bay leading in the ball game, 14-10. Bert Cohn and Eugene Thomas are going back deep to receive the opening kickoff of the second half for the Kansas City Chiefs. Don Chandler, of course, will be doing the kicking off for Green Bay. He backs away from the football, and we're just about ready to put this second half underway. Eugene Thomas playing to the right, Bert Cohn to the left. The kick is a low one, bounces on the 15, bounces almost dead. Whistles are blowing all across the field, stopping play. And the ball is being brought back for some reason or other to be kicked again. John Chandler receives it. Chandler backs away from the football once more. And again, the kick is a poor one, but a high one. And it comes down on the 13-yard line to Bert Cohn. He's out to the 25, 28, tapped on about the 29-yard line. Red Mack coming down under the kick, making the tackle at that point. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Kansas City Chiefs on their own 29-yard line. Len Dawson, the quarterback. Mike Garrett, we can see, will be starting in the backfield. McClinton is operating with him in the running back position. Chris Burford is going out wide to the right side, or left side. Otis Taylor is out to the right. And we're ready for the first play from scrimmage of the second half. It's Dawson rolling out to the right. He's going to run with it. He gets from 30 to the 35 to the 40, and then goes out of bounds at the 44-yard line. A nifty pickup by Lenny Dawson. And it looked like he was planning to run that one virtually all the way. He looked only for his primary receiver and then started to go. And he took that ball for 15 yards.
That's the third time he's done this in the ball game, and that's the thing. Even though he doesn't have real good quickness or speed, he's a very clever football player. If he sees the end is off and the linebackers drop back to cover, he'll take advantage of that. And game after game, we've seen him make that type of run.
He also, by throwing that one at him, the first play from scrimmage in the second half will tend to immobilize those cornermen when he starts moving out with the ball. They won't be able to come in on a big rush quite so freely. McClinton taking the handoff, goes right into the middle of the line to go across the 45 and up to around the 47 or 48-yard line. Stopper made by Ron Kostelnik and Lionel Aldridge. Ball at the 47-yard line, a pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7 yards to go. The score in the ball game, Green Bay 14, Kansas City 10 as we begin the second half of play. Taylor goes out wide to the right as a single flanker. High formation in the backfield now. They split and put 3 receivers to the right side. McClinton coming a slot back to the right as the tight end splits out a little bit. It's a running play, however, to hand off to Mike Garrett. He goes straight ahead over the left guard spot from a position at left halfback and takes it up to the 49-yard line. Ron Kostelnik was there again with Lionel Aldridge to make the tackle for Green Bay. But the ball now is at the 49. That's a pickup of 2 more yards to make a 3rd down and 5 yards to go. A 3rd and 5 situation looking at Lenny Dawson, the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Otis Taylor wide to the right. Chris Burford coming out wide to the left side. Dawson takes the snap, drops back to throw. The rush is on. He throws a wobbly pass that is intercepted. The Green Bay Packers have the ball. It's Willie Wood carrying, and he is down all the way down on the 4-yard line. Mike Garrett finally caught up with him to make the tackle, but the first interception of the game is a disaster for the Kansas City Chiefs as Willie Wood picked it off and then raced down to the 4 before he was stopped.
51-yard interception by Willie Wood, and again the pressure put on by the front 4. Henry Jordan fired in there and made a good rush, and that was the thing that helped set it up. Wood intercepted at the 45. He grabbed the football well and then came down that right sideline.
So now the Green Bay Packers get the first genuine break in the ball game, capitalizing on the first genuine Kansas City mistake. And this is the situation for which the Packers are famed. Let's see what it does to the development of this game. Art Starr barking out the signals. He gives the ball to Pitts, and Pitts is in there standing up. Elijah Pitts shooting through a big hole on the left side of the line, goes in for the TD. We still have over 12 and a half minutes to play in the 3rd quarter of this game as the Green Bay Packers, with a pass interception after kicking off to Kansas City, have put it over with Elijah Pitts carrying from the 4-yard line. We're ready now for the try for the extra point. Chandler's kick is in the air, and it is good. So timeout is called on the field of play with the score. Green Bay 21, Kansas City 10. Ready now for the kickoff. Green Bay kicking off to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Packers leading now 21-10. Elijah Pitts going from 4 yards out after the pass interception. kickoff is in the air right to the goal line. About a yard behind it, Bert Cohn takes it there out to the 10, to the 15, 20, 25. Is tripped up at the 27-yard line. Spins forward to the 30, where he hit the ground. It was Phil Vandersea and Jim Weatherwax down under the tackle who made the stop. So Kansas City tries again, this time beginning on their own 30-yard line.
And here's where Kansas City must keep its poise. Tom Landry said you cannot make critical errors against these Packers or they'll beat you. And another thing he pointed out, he said they've been in this championship game so many times, they've got the great poise and experience. Now we'll see how Chiefs quarterback Lenny Dawson, or better known as Lenny the Cool, can go right now.
He has an end and flanker both out. He rolls out to the right side and throws a very wobbly pass again. This one was intended for Otis Taylor, but hit the ground well in front of him. As Len Dawson seems to be having trouble momentarily getting that firm grip on the football. That one kind of slid out of his hand and wobbled more with the point sideways than pointed toward the receiver. Hit the ground well short of the target. Second down and 10 yards to go now on the 30-yard line. Bert Cohn is in the backfield now, replacing Mike Garrett. Curtis McClinton, the fullback, is just in front of him in the I formation. Cohn shifts to the left. End and flanker are out. Dawson dropping back to throw once more. Has to hurry the throw, but pass is complete to Otis Taylor, who is necktied, fumbles, grabs the ball once again to retain possession, and is down with the football up around the 41-yard line. Coming in to make the tackle was Tom Brown, who caught him right under the chin strap. And while the receiver's legs were still running, his head was staying in one place, and he plopped flat on his back on the ground.
I think Lenny Dawson thinks he can hurt the safety man, Tom Brown. That is the second time this half they have thrown the football to flanker back Otis Taylor as he was being picked up by Tommy Brown.
Now both Taylor and the split end Chris Burford are set to the left side. End and flanker both set left. The ball is given over to Bert Cohn. Cohn hitting into the middle, or rather Curtis McClinton taking it up the middle, takes it to around the 45-yard line, and the ball is placed right on the 45. Lionel Aldrich and Ray Nitschke combining on the tackle. So the ball at the 45 now, second down, and about 6 yards to go. Kansas City out of the huddle. Otis Taylor going out wide to the right side. Cohn and McClinton are still in the eye as Burford is split left. Both backs shift, going to either side of the quarterback. A fake to McClinton. There's the throw. It's pegged to Bert Cohn, who juggles the ball but holds it and is dropped just short of the 50-yard line. Bob Jeter was over there to make the tackle. Bert Cohn making the catch. The ball is practically at the 50-yard line. And it will be third down and about a yard and a half to go. They've got to get to the Green Bay Packers 49 for a first down. They're just short of the 50.
Some fans may ask the question, why is Garrett not in there? Well, right now, Kansas City trailing 21-10 must throw, and Bert Cohn is 6'4" and 225, a much bigger, stronger blocker.
Dawson gives the ball to Bert Cohn. Cohn trying to sweep around to the left side is caught behind the line of scrimmage by Leroy Caffey, and that slowed him. Then Ray Nitschke and Bob Jeter came through to make the tackle, and they throw him back on the Kansas City 47-yard line, a loss of 3 yards on the play. So it runs Kansas City out of downs. They'll have to punt. Willie Wood and Donnie Anderson are going back to receive the kick. Gerald Wilson in punt formation for the Kansas City Chiefs. Waiting now for that long snap from center as he's 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Gerald Wilson puts a towering punt in the air. Donnie Anderson goes over. He's going to let it bounce, and it takes a Green Bay bounce. It hit on the 21, bounced back to the 25. And then the Kansas City Chiefs fell on the football, but it'll be first and 10 for the Packers on their own 25-yard line. The score in the ball game now reads Green Bay 21, Kansas City 10, as the Packers, leading 14-10 at the half, got that all-important first touchdown in the second half. With a pass interception by Willie Wood, returned to the 4-yard line, and Elijah Pitts taking it over from there. Pitts and Taylor in the running back positions. McGee is in at the flanker, and he's set to the left side. The ball is given to Elijah Pitts. Pitts with a big hole to the left side of the line. Goes well to it. Up across the 35. Is finally dropped on the 37-yard line. The Green Bay offensive line really fired out on that play. Take it 12 yards to the 37 for a first down, where Fred Williamson, the halfback, and Bobby Bell, the linebacker, made the tackle for Kansas City.
Cheryl Hedrick, the middle linebacker of Kansas City, is shaken up. It looks like he's twisted an ankle, and Smokey Stover comes in for him. But that was great blocking on that last play for the line of Green Bay.
Bart Starr back to throw, and is running out of protection. They've got him back there and thrown for a loss. Bart Starr is overwhelmed by the Kansas City rush back at the 30-yard line. Big Buck Buchanan was leading the rush through there, shading 300 pounds. He's logged at 287, and he piled through there to drop Bart Starr on the 30-yard line, a 7-yard loss at second down and 17 yards to go. Gerald Dale is coming out wide to the right side. Max McGee is split out to the left. The tight end is set to the right side. Now Elijah Pitts moves over, becomes a slot back to the left. Starr is going back to throw once again. And he whips one out there to Max McGee. McGee makes the catch, is out of bounds immediately, hit out by Willie Mitchell, the cornerback covering on the play. But he's out of bounds just short of the 45-yard line. It'll be up at the 44. So they're going to have about 3 yards to go for a first down. Kansas City has decided on the defense. They fan out now, along and beyond the line of scrimmage. Green Bay still in their huddle. Now Bart Starr has figured out the play, sends his team up over the ball. Carroll Dale is coming out as a single flanker to the right side. Starr gives the ball to Jimmy Taylor. They're going to try to run for this one. Taylor's in trouble as he gets up to the line of scrimmage. Gets across the 45, gets up to about the 46 or 47-yard line, but it's going to be a pretty tight fit. They're going to call for the chains to come across the field and measure to see whether or not Taylor's run was able to negotiate the first down. The chains are being trotted across the field now. It looks like it's going to be short of a first down. Well, the markers are put down, and that's exactly the situation. They're short of the first down by about a yard. The big tackle there made by Andy Rice and Sherrill Hedrick.
Sherrill's the man who turned the play in and really made the big play that time. The middle linebacker who came in the play before read that one, came around and did a good job containing the Green Bay fullback and made him come back inside rather than go to the outside. Now, Andy Rice has come in the ball game. He's a real fine football player, defensive left end, along with Aaron Brown.
Emmett Thomas and Mike Garrett are back to receive the punt from Don Chandler. Chandler bangs a line drive punt to Garrett, who takes it on the 19, back to the 25, caught along the 25 and dropped on the 27-yard line. So Kansas City certainly not out of this ball game in any sense of the word, but getting into the position where they've got to score along about now. They've got the ball on the 27-yard line. They're trailing 21-10. Mike Garrett is back in the ball game now. Len Dawson rolls out to the left. The ball is on its way, and again, that wobbly forward pass. Way off target as he goes high above Chris Burford on it. It was covered by Bob Jeter. Tom, you've watched this Kansas City team through the season. Any chance of figuring out what's wrong with Len Dawson's throwing?
That time he just simply overthrew him. Many times when that happens, he tries to pop the football too fast. Now, it was a great call and a good cut on the part of Burford. He had that long gain. He had at least a 15-yard pickup. But Lenny that time apparently threw too quickly, and I would imagine did not quite properly plant those feet. And then, of course, when you're looking down at Green Bay's front four, you're going to hustle that ball a little bit too much on occasion.
Now we're ready to go. Shift out of the eye. Puts Mike Garrett over to the right side. Dawson in trouble. They're through on the big blitz. One of the few times that the Packers have blitzed this time, or this game, and Leroy Caffey coming in from his linebacker position was in there on Len Dawson before he had a chance to do anything with that football, and it puts him back at the 14, but a penalty flag is down on the field. Conversation, however, is with the Green Bay Packers, so I would suspect that whatever it is, they're going to decline it after racking up that important loss. A holding call against the Kansas City Chiefs declined by the Packers, puts the ball back on the 14-yard line. So it's third down now for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's third and about 23 yards to go. Green Bay can be expected to go into what is more or less a prevent-type defense on this one. Not worrying about short passes, just making sure they don't get the first down. Dawson rolling out to the left. Now going back to the right as they've got him again. He couldn't find anyone to throw to, and he's dropped back at the 2-yard line. Henry Jordan was the first to hit him coming in from right tackle, and Willie Davis moving in from left end was right behind him, and they got him down on the 2. So, disaster in several forms is hitting the Kansas City Chiefs here in the second half. The pass interception lengthened the Green Bay lead to 21-10, and now Dawson is finding he can't get the ball away.
That's the 5th time Dawson's been dumped, and he was the guy who told me after taking a look at their defense, he said all 11 guys pursue so well, it's hard to get to the outside, and they don't need a blitz. They're so quick and so fast and have such great lateral movement.
Cheryl Wilson now punting. Donnie Anderson, Willie Wood waiting to receive it, and the ball is taken by Donnie Anderson at the Kansas City 45. Penalty flag flies down on the field as he's dropped on the 40. Aaron Brown coming in to make the stop for Kansas City. Donnie Anderson back to the 40-yard line, and we may get a clipping call against the Green Bay Packers here. Norm Schachter, the referee, discussing the situation with the interested onlookers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and starts to step off the yardage. 15 yards, puts the ball back to the 44-yard line. The penalty executed from the spot of the foul. The clipping signal is given. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Green Bay Packers, but the ball will be on their own 44. Packers ball on their own 44. Bart Starr looks over the defense, gives the ball to Elijah Pitts. The Green Bay sweep is on, but they didn't sweep many that time. Fighting through the blockers. The Kansas City Chiefs get in there to throw Elijah Pitts for a loss back at the 42. First to hit him, E.J. Holub, the right side linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs. So the ball is back at the 42, a loss of 2 yards, and it'll be 2nd down and 12 yards to go. Green Bay 21, Kansas City 10. We're in the 3rd quarter of play. Carroll Dale out wide to the right. Max McGee playing a tight end to the left side. Bart Starr back to throw, has time, gets one away to Max McGee. McGee makes the catch over in Kansas City territory on the Kansas City 47-yard line. Max McGee was a seldom seen player in the Green Bay Packers offense through the season, coming in only in spot duty, but he's been very much a part of the action here today, including grabbing one pass that was good for a 37-yard TD. Willie Mitchell and Johnny Robinson brought McGee down there. Ball at the 47 now in Kansas City territory. 3rd down and 1 yard to go. Carroll Dale out very wide to the right as a single flanker. Ball is given to Jimmy Taylor. Taylor is caught behind the line, but just blasted loose from the first tackler. Shot over the 45 for a 1st down at around the 43-yard line. The ball on the 43, 1st and 10. Chuck Hurston shooting through there, upended Taylor, but couldn't stop him. So the Green Bay Packers are on the march once again as they move that ball now 43 yards away from the Kansas City goal line. This is Jack Drees with Tom Hedrick speaking to you from the Coliseum in Los Angeles as this long and eagerly awaited Super Bowl is finding its reality here today. Bart Starr back to throw. He arches a long pass off to the right side, and the target on it, Carroll Dale, got tangled up with his defender, Fred Williamson, fell to the ground, and the pass sailed harmlessly far down the field to hit the ground incomplete.
Fred Williamson said he was going to drop the hammer. That's what he calls his forearm shiver, or a clothesline shot, as most pro football fans would call it, on Carroll Dale. Now, I didn't see it around the 30-yard line, but I do know that Dale went down. And one way or another, Freddie Williamson seemed to intimidate the great flanker back of the Green Bay Packers.
Now they're out of the huddle. Green Bay moving up over the ball. Carroll Dale going out wide to the left side this time. Max McGee is set out to the right. Back goes Bart Starr looking for a target. He finds one, sends it to Jimmy Taylor. Taylor makes the catch at the line of scrimmage, or just short of the line of scrimmage, and can't get to it. He caught that one well back and was brought down by Fred Williamson and Bobby Bell. While on the 44-yard line, 3rd down and 11 yards to go for the Green Bay Packers on the Kansas City 44 as Starr drops back to throw. Right up the middle he goes. Pass is complete to Max McGee, and McGee is dumped on the 28-yard line. Bobby Bell, the linebacker, Fred Williamson, the halfback, or Bobby Hunt, rather, the safety man coming over to make the tackle. So that puts the ball on the 28, and it's another 1st down for the Packers. Jim Taylor, incidentally, in rushing, has rushed for more than either of the 2 principal running backs of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's outdistanced both of them at 34 yards to 33. Now Starr is ready to go from 28 yards out. 1st and 10. He gives the ball to Jim Taylor. Taylor runs into a tangle and was able to get it down to about the 26-yard line. And then big Buck Buchanan put a hand on Taylor's shoulder pad in a fit of anger and flung him to the ground. Taylor, with a rare burst of self-control, just got up and slowly walked away. That may have been enhanced by the fact that Buchanan is 6'7" and 287 pounds. But Jim Taylor is famous for coming up spitting when he's tackled, and if anything starts up on the field, he gets into it with a bit of a zest. The ball now is on the 26-yard line. 2nd down and about 8 yards to go for the Green Bay Packers. A draw play. They're throwing Taylor at him again, and Taylor, tackled along the line of scrimmage, is able to stumble forward and get the ball down to the 21 before he's put down for keeps. Stop was made by Johnny Robinson and Chuck Hurston. The ball now is at the 21-yard line. A pickup of 5 on the play makes it 3rd down and 3 yards to go.
9 times today, Green Bay has had a 3rd down situation. They've been able to come up with the right call 7 times, good for 91 yards.
3rd and 3 on this one. And now the Packers are in a pretty tight formation all along the way. The flanker is out just a couple of yards from the tight end to the right. He gives the ball to Jim Taylor. The sweep is on. Taylor almost caught behind the line of scrimmage, gets loose. Gets around the corner down inside the 15 to be brought to a halt on about the 13-yard line. That's plenty for a 1st down. Johnny Robinson and Bobby Bell finally caught up with him. Looked for a moment when they might have him well behind the line of scrimmage. But Taylor just gave them tackler the limp leg, got away from him, and got around the bend with 1 minute and 20 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter now. The Green Bay Packers have it 1st and 10 from 13 yards away.
Andy Rice and Hurston just missed tackles that time, but even though Kansas City knew what the play was, Green Bay executed simply too well there.
Lone flanker out to the right side. Bart Starr back to throw. Pegs one into the end zone, and Max McGee has grabbed his 2nd touchdown pass. Max McGee has caught 6 passes this afternoon in what is his finest day of the season, 2 of them for touchdowns. Bart Starr has thrown 18 times, completed 12. 51 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter as Don Chandler lines up for the extra point. Chandler's kick is in the air, and it is good. And so the Green Bay Packers move out ahead of Kansas City now, 28-10. 51 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter of the game. 2 deep men are waiting right underneath the goalpost, just a shade behind the goal line. There's a slight breeze blowing. It can't be much more than about 5 to 7 miles an hour, but it is favoring Green Bay on this kickoff. Chandler, to open up the second half, kicked well short on his kickoff attempt. He moves into this one, and it too drops short, bouncing on the 11, taking a long bounce back to Bert Cohn, who spears it on the 3. He's back to the 15, and then as he tried to cut, his foot went out from under him, and he dropped on the 18, where he was put down there by Dave Hathcock and Phil Vandersee. And so it'll be on the 17-yard line, 1st and 10 for Kansas City. The Chiefs break from their huddle. Otis Taylor is sent out wide to the right side. Chris Burford is playing tight to the left. Mike Garrett shifts over to the left, out of the I formation in the running back position. The ball is given to Curtis McClinton, the fullback, who was trying to get quickly into the line, but it was clogged with Packers, and he was able to work his way up for a gain of maybe a yard. It looks like the ball will be placed down on the 18-yard line to make it 2nd and 9. Henry Jordan and Ron Kostelnik, the 2 tacklers, immovable on that play. So the ball on the 18, 2nd down and 9 yards to go now for the Kansas City Chiefs. Green Bay out in front, 28-10. And there is the gun. There's the end of the 3rd period with the score. Green Bay 28, Kansas City 10. Now 15 minutes of playing time remain for Kansas City to do something about this ball game. End and flank are both out. Len Dawson at quarterback. Mike Garrett, Curtis McClinton are the running backs. Dawson back to throw, throws up the middle for McClinton. The pass is almost intercepted again by Willie Wood. He couldn't quite hold it. He knifed in front of McClinton, had the ball for just that split second, but then it juggled out of his hands to the ground. So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Hank Stram said whenever Willie Wood is free, he's the finest safety in pro football. He nearly intercepted there, and I really think he is the difference here in the second half. After that interception of 51 yards, the Kansas City Chiefs have not been the same football team.
3rd down, 9 yards to go now for Kansas City. End and flank is set out. Reg Carrollin has come into the ball game now to take one of the wide set spots. Dawson scrambling, and he can't find someone to throw to. Finally pegs one down there. It was an ill-advised throw to make and almost got intercepted again. That time Herb Adderley knifing in front of Otis Taylor. Again, got his hands on the football, but in the contact with Taylor couldn't hold it. Willie Davis was storming in there on the pass rush and hurrying the throw of Len Dawson a little. It's 4th and 9, however. And so Darrell Wilson goes back in punt formation as Willie Wood and Donnie Anderson wait for the punt downfield. A long long pass from center is a little low, but Wilson is able to get the kick away. It's a line drive kick, not very high in the air to Donnie Anderson at the 42. He's back to the 45, is caught and thrown down. As he gets that ball back to around the 47, 48-yard line, Bobby Ply, coming down under the punt, made the stop. Let's see where they placed the ball. He was right over near the sideline and hidden by the players on the bench. 46-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10.
The thing Kansas City must do is much like Green Bay. They like to gain control of the football game, then put the pressure on you defensively, and traditionally, Kansas City has never been a great catch-up team like a Dallas Cowboy-type club.
Single flanker out now for Green Bay. The line of scrimmage, their own 46. Bart Starr gives the ball to Jim Taylor. He cuts back inside after starting the sweep, seeing his blocking wasn't doing it there, spotting a hole on the famed run for daylight philosophy of Coach Vince Lombardi. He was able to take that ball up to the 50-yard line where he was stopped by Buck Buchanan and Johnny Robinson. Ball at the 50. A pickup of 4 yards on the play will be 2nd down and a little more than 6 yards to go. Carroll Dale going out wide to the right for Green Bay. Max McGee set out wide to the left side. Starr looks over to Kansas City defense. Begins his chant snug behind the center. Fades back to throw. Arches one downfield for Max McGee. And this one is intercepted by Kansas City as Willie Mitchell gets the football and is on the 10-yard line. Willie Mitchell intercepting for Kansas City, gives the ball to the Chiefs on the 10 on a long pass intended for Max McGee.
That's the very thing you and I were talking a moment ago about, the fact that Kansas City had to get a break. Bart Starr thought he could beat Willie Mitchell one-on-one with McGee going down toward the flag, and Willie played that one real well, played his defender, came back and made the catch.
So each team now has recorded one interception. Kansas City with the ball on their own 10-yard line. Chris Burford wide to the left. Dawson back to throw. Finally spots his target, lets one go. A magnificent catch by Curtis McClinton, who was literally in the arms of Willie Wood and falling to the ground as he grabbed that football out at the 38-yard line.
That's the thing McClinton does best. He grabbed that football over his shoulder at the 35 and made a 28-yard gain out of it. We talk about his running, but he's really a great blocker and a tremendous pass catcher, a high school All-American when he played his high school ball down in Wichita.
So let's see if Kansas City can sustain the inspiration of the moment. A pass interception, a long gain, a thrown out Otis Taylor completed at the 42. He's in the grasp and down of Herb Adderley. Adderley coming up to make the tackle. The ball at the 42-yard line. Pick up a 4 yards on that quick strike out to the right flat. He's 2nd down and 6 yards to go.
4 yards on the 44-yard line.
Burford going out wide to the left side. Otis Taylor fairly tight on the right. There's a quick throw to Burford. He takes it at the Green Bay 48 and is dropped on the Green Bay 46-yard line. Tackle made by Bob Jeter. Kansas City now staying steadily on the move. And that's another 1st down for the Chiefs. 1st and 10 on the Green Bay 46-yard line. Len Dawson is now hit on 16 out of 24. For Bart Starr, 13 of 19. Dawson looks over the Packer defense, rolls out to the right side, sights downfield, arches a long heave through the air, too long for Otis Taylor. Otis Taylor had gained a step on Herb Adderley. The pass had gained a couple of steps on him, and it hit into the end zone, incomplete. Penalty flag is down back near or just behind the line of scrimmage. And they're talking things over with the Green Bay Packers. The penalty call apparently against the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's see whether Green Bay wants the penalty or the down. Referee Norm Schachter sighting down to take a look at where the marker is. Moves back 5 yards. That puts the ball on the Kansas City 49-yard line. The illegal procedure call against the Kansas City Chiefs puts the ball back on their own 49. It's 1st down yet, but 1st and 15. Frank Pitts has come in now for the Kansas City Chiefs in their backfield. And he is in at the flanker back position, replacing Otis Taylor. Burford is out wide to the left. Frank Pitts out wide to the right. Dawson back to throw, in trouble, and they've got him. Thrown for a big loss back at the 38-yard line by Willie Davis. Willie Davis, the all-pro left end. There was no blitz on that time. That was just a front 4 rush, and Willie Davis made it all the way. The ball is put down at the 38-yard line. A loss of 8 yards on the play. It's between the 38 and 39.
When Dawson was doing a good job throwing the first part of this drive, he had time to throw. Now he's not had time to throw, and that's the 6th time Green Bay's front four has gotten the Chiefs quarterback.
Otis Taylor has come back in now at the flanker back position. Second down and about 23, 24 yards to go for the Kansas City Chiefs. Dawson rolling out to the right side, sends one downfield, and Herb Adderley moves right in front of Otis Taylor to bat that ball to the ground. An incomplete forward pass. So that's going to make it third. And about 23, 24 yards to go. All on their own 39-yard line. Kansas City got in possession of this football with a pass interception on their own 10 and then really began to move. When zipping up the field, but now have run into the defensive skills of the Green Bay Packers, and the drive is bogged down. Talking about third down situations, Lenny Dawson really has one now. Third down and just short of 25 yards to accomplish. He floats one over the middle, and this one was a floater to Garrett. And it was knocked to the ground by big number 78, the defensive end for the Green Bay Packers, Bob Brown, who reached up at the line of scrimmage and batted that ball aside. So that runs the Kansas City Chiefs out of downs, and they will have to punt the ball to the Green Bay Packers. Donnie Anderson and Willie Wood are deep for Green Bay. Gerald Wilson going back in punt formation for Kansas City. Wilson puts a punt high in the air. They're going to let it bounce. It bounces down around the 7-yard line and goes on into the end zone for the touchback.
That was a 62-yard kick by Gerald Wilson. He averaged 44.5 yards a try and has gotten off a 72-yard kick. This year, he's got a great leg on him.
Timeout is called on the field of play with the score, Green Bay 28, Kansas City 10. Now they're ready to resume play. The Packers are in their huddle. Leave it now to get up over the ball. The line of scrimmage, their own 20-yard line. They lead in the ball game 28-10. Single flanker out. It's Carroll Dale set wide to the left. Max McGee tight on the right side. Bart Starr dropping back to throw. Arches one up the middle, and his pass complete to Carroll Dale out at the 45-yard line. He's knocked out of bounds at that point. Willie Mitchell over there to bang him out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So it's a 25-yard gain for Bart Starr, combining with Carroll Dale. First down on their own 45. Kansas City Chiefs have called their defense. They fan out now as the Packers come out of their huddle. That's Carroll Dale going out wide to the right side this time, and Max McGee is splitting out about 5 yards from the tackle to the left. Starr back to throw once more. Up the middle it goes to Max McGee, who is clear. He takes it to the 25, is down to the 20, is caught from behind at the 18-yard line. Willie Mitchell, who was beaten on the play by Max McGee, recovered enough to make the tackle. The ball is all the way down to the 18. 37 yards on the play. Max McGee now has caught 7 forward passes for Green Bay, and he is certainly dealing himself, or we should say perhaps Bart Starr is dealing him a real hot hand here in Los Angeles this afternoon. Single flanker out to the left is Carroll Dale. Ball on the Kansas City 18-yard line. This one is given to Jimmy Taylor. He's into the line, caught, and thrown back. That'll be held for pretty close to no gain. We'll see where his forward progress was stopped. Gained about 1.5 feet on the play. Jerry Mays and Bobby Bell combining on the tackle.
It's always interesting to see what happens after a quarterback on a drive completes his first pass. A moment ago, he got off a 25-yarder to Dale, and then Bart Starr came back to McGee and got a 37-yard gain. He's moved his team downfield at the 18-yard line. Now with second down coming up. 2nd and 10. End and flank are both out this time. Starr back to throw, pegs one out to the left, passes complete to Carroll Dale, who's caught as he grabs the ball on the 12-yard line and down immediately. Willie Mitchell, whom they are really testing today, was there to make the tackle on that one. Call it the 11-yard line. It's a little closer to the 11 than the 12. 9 minutes left to play in this football game. Green Bay 28-10 over Kansas City. Third down now and about 3 yards to go. Carroll Dale going out wide to the right. Max McGee fairly tight on the left side of the line.
Starr gives the ball to Elijah Pitts. Big hole. He's down to the 5 and then is upended to be dropped on the 4-yard line. That'll be first and goal to go. Johnny Robinson coming over from his safety position. Packers out of the huddle. Carroll Dale splitting out wide to the left side on a single flanker. Starr with the ball. Gives it to Jimmy Taylor. Taylor hurdles the line, plows over it, and is down on about the 2-yard line. Bobby Hunt, the left safety man. Sherrill Hedrick, the middle linebacker, combining to bring Jim Taylor down, but he's down to the 2. Second down and goal to go.
The play selection on this drive by Bart Starr has just been picture book. He has really moved his ball club passing and running and has done a great job calling signals.
Second down, goal to go from the 2. Starr calling the signals. Taking a long count on this one. He gives the ball to Jim Taylor. The Packer sweep is on. Taylor cuts inside the block and is dropped just short of the goal line. Fuzzy Thurston turning in the key block on the play as he led it around the corner. And Jimmy Taylor got down to the 1-foot line before he was stopped by Johnny Robinson, the safety man. So it's third down and goal to go from a foot away. The score at the present time is 28-10 in favor of the Green Bay Packers, and they're a foot away from another touchdown. Max McGee over to the right side. Carroll Dale over to the left. Kansas City now really putting the beat all along that goal line. The ball is given to Elijah Pitts, and he slides along the line till he finds an opening, and then shot over the goal line for the touchdown. 2-yard plunge by Elijah Pitts. That makes the score 34-10 with the extra point attempt coming up. 6 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in the game. Don Chandler ready to kick. Bart Starr to hold. Kick is in the air, and it is good. So timeout is called on the field of play with the score, Green Bay 35, Kansas City 10. Ready now for the kickoff. Chandler to kick. Eugene Thomas and Bert Cohn are deep for Kansas City. Whistle blows. Chandler moves into the ball, kicks one very high, and this one is going down to the 1-yard line where Bert Cohn takes it. He's back to the 10, to the 15, slides out to his right to the 20, and gets the ball back to the 25-yard line before he's brought down. Jim Grabowski was down there, and Red Mack to bring him down. Ball is out at the 25-yard line, and it's first and 10 for the Kansas City Chiefs at that point, with this ball game close to being entirely away from them at 35-10 in favor of Green Bay. Remember, next week, the stars of the NFL's Eastern and Western divisions will meet here in the Pro Bowl at the Los Angeles Coliseum, and we'll be bringing it all to you on CBS Radio and around the world via the Armed Forces Radio Network. And now Pete Beathard has come in at quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. He drops straight back, throws one out to the left flat, hits Chris Burford at the 42-yard line, and Burford is tackled immediately by Bob Jeter. Ball at the 42. So that's a first down for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Beathard has a great arm. He's very quick with his delivery. He's got a strong throwing arm. He can throw the football flat-footed 60 yards, and he's a real bona fide scrambling-type quarterback like Fran Talkington. Naturally, being a Southern Cal Trojan coming back home, the fans are glad to see him in the ballgame.
Chiefs out of the huddle. Burford wide to the left. Otis Taylor out to the right side. Mike Garrett has gone out to the right as well as a slot back. Beathard looking for someone to throw to, can't find him, and starts to run. Picks up a block, gets to the 50 along the sidelines, is out of bounds at the 44-yard line in Green Bay territory. Fred Arbanis in the ball game once again, turned in a critical block on that one to spring his quarterback and get the first down to the Green Bay 44.
In the Chiefs offense, you've got to have a great blocking tight end, and Freddie is considered by most people in the American Football League not only to be the best tight end in the AFL, but by far the best blocker.
Arbanis is set to the left at tight end, making a flanker out of Burford, set wide to the left. Beathard back to throw once again as the time pitches one out too far. He was aiming for Mike Garrett, but overthrew his man. Pass is incomplete. Going beyond the receiver, and it brings the ball back to the 44-yard line where it'll be second down and 10 yards to go. Green Bay leading the Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. 5 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in this fourth quarter of the first Super Bowl, the meeting of the champions of each league. Kansas City of the American Football League, Green Bay of the relatively venerable National Football League. End and flank are both out once again. And penalty flags go down as there was movement along the line ahead of the snap, and it's going to be called against Kansas City. Illegal procedure as they came up ahead of the count, and it's going to cost them 5 yards. Actually, unless he moves that football, it's going to cost him 7 yards. He put it on the wrong side of the 50-yard line. Ball should have gone back to the Green Bay 49, and it is back to the Kansas City 49. I think somebody's discovered that little situation now. They're holding him up for a moment, and the officials are going to get together, and there was a set of sharp eyes down there. Ball was right back at somebody's 49-yard line, and it was placed at the wrong one. But now it's at the Green Bay 49, and it's second down and 15 yards to go. Pete Beathard calling the signals for the Kansas City Chiefs. His team leaves the huddle now. Second and 15. Beathard going back to throw. The rush is on, and brother, they've got him. Bob Brown, coming in from defensive end on the left side of the Packer line, just had free search on Pete Beathard as somebody missed the blocking assignment, and Brown sailed right in to knock him down on the Kansas City 40-yard line. So it's third down now, and let's add this up. 10, 20, 27 yards, 26 yards to go. Third and 26 with the ball on their own 40-yard line for Kansas City. Deep defenders are quite deep for the Green Bay Packers. They backed away 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, ready to give ground and let them complete the short one, but not get that first down. Beathard goes back to throw. Arches one down toward the left sideline. Chris Burford high in the air, and Bob Jeter right with him, and Jeter breaks up the play, and it'll be fourth down for Kansas City. They'll have to punt. The line of scrimmage will be their own 40-yard line. Willie Wood and Donnie Anderson will be the deep men for the Green Bay Packers.
One NFL coach was talking about the game today. He said, I think Green Bay will win for two basic reasons. First of all, they've got more depth, and look at the great game Max McGee has had. And secondly, they're stronger at cornerback, and that certainly has also been a big tale, plus the great quarterbacking of Bart Starr.
Cheryl Wilson punting. He rides into the football, puts one high in the air. Willie Wood goes over, calls for a fair catch, and takes it on his own 18-yard line. So it'll be Green Bay's ball, first and 10 on their own 18, leading the ball game 35-10. And it looks like Zeke Bratkowski is coming in. He's kind of taken over the mantle of the best number 2 quarterback in the NFL, which had belonged to Gary Quazzo for quite a length of time. But the Packers, when Zeke Bratkowski had to come in to handle emergency duty with an injury to Bart Starr, have never lost a game with his performance. Now Bratkowski is in the ball game, and Donnie Anderson is in at a running back position. Anderson taking the handoff, and he swings around to the left, goes off tackle to the left side, on his feet up to the 30, is hit from behind and dropped on about the 32. That was E.J. Hollab coming over there to make the stop with Johnny Robinson, the safety man.
Quite a story there, both men from Texas Tech. Down at Lubbock, Texas, and naturally, E.J. said he wanted a piece of Don if he got in the ball game. No, Vince Lombardi did a great thing when he picked up 2 great draft choices last year. When he picked up Grabowski at fullback and Don Anderson, that gives the Green Bay Packers no less than 5 great running backs.
Ball now on the 31-yard line, first and 10. Donnie Anderson and Jim Grabowski are in the running back position. That's about $1 million worth of rookies back there, and Grabowski fumbled. But the fumble was recovered by Green Bay with Bob Skoronski, the tackle, grabbing the loose football. So the ball is at the 32-yard line, just a little bit ahead of the 31. And it's second down and still practically 10 yards to go. Bob Long goes out wide to the right side. Carroll Dale is tight to the left. Grabowski barking the signals. He gives the ball to Donnie Anderson. The sweep is on around to the right side. Donnie Anderson is just caught with a come-from-behind tackle that caught his ankle, and he is dropped at around the 34-yard line by Sherrill Hedrick, the middle linebacker. One of the Kansas City Chiefs is hurt on the play. Number 24, Fred Williamson, the cornerback. So this is a timeout charge to Kansas City. 9 trying to decipher that scoreboard clock. It looks like about 2:46 left to play. This is an electric clock that is the official timepiece. It's activated by a little radio transmitter from the field, and the numbers are spelled out in electric lights, but the sun is shining right into them, so right about now it gets a little tough to read. Tom?
Right now, as Williamson is being attended to by the team physician, Dr. Albert Miller, and Bobby Yarborough and Wayne Rudy down there, I'm not too surprised that somebody came down and got Fred Williamson. We call him the Cassius Clay of the cornerbacks in our league, as you know, and looks as though he got hemmed up on that last play, took a rather tough tumble on that play, trying to make a play, and the fact that he's still in the ball game, Jack, and trying hard as all the Chiefs are right now, trading 35-10, I think speaks very well for the character of both of these squads.
Well, certainly your comments about Chiefs saying you can't make a mistake against Green Bay have been borne out here. If turning point of a game is being hunted, and those are usually more mythical than real, it would have to be the interception, the first real error that Kansas City made against Green Bay, and it blew the game wide open. The Green Bay Packers capitalized on it immediately, and then have taken things from there. They're out in front now 35-10. 2 minutes and 46 seconds remaining to be played in this football game, and then this historical contest will come to its conclusion. I suppose you could say, in all honesty, about as most people expected it, but certainly the Kansas City Chiefs came out here to play this game. And at the end of the first half, this was truly anybody's football game, a 14-10 score at the end of the half. But the Packers, as they do so often, are in the process of prevailing again. And for the last 2 minutes and 46 seconds of this game, or for however long Green Bay has the football during that time, we're getting a look at two of the most highly touted rookies in professional play, the great running duo of Jim Grabowski and Donnie Anderson, who are in the backfield in the running back positions now behind Zeke Bratkowski at quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
The thing that really impresses you about Green Bay, and this is about the third or fourth time I've seen them this year, is the fact they block and tackle so well. Jack, they've got great execution. And the more you see Green Bay, the more you realize what a great job Vince Lombardi and his staff do in getting the football team to play hard every week.
Fred Williamson now is going to be helped off the field. Now the Packers go into their huddle. Here they come out of it. Bob Long going out wide to the right side. Carroll Dale is wide to the left. Bratkowski going back to throw. He arches one up the middle for Carroll Dale, but it is too far and wide to the right to fall incomplete. Johnny Robinson, the safety, was tracking down Dale on the plate as the defensive man for Kansas City. So it runs Green Bay out of downs. They'll have to punt the ball back to the Kansas City Chiefs. That incomplete pass shows the clock at 2:40 left to play in the game. Mike Garrett is going back along with, I believe, Emmett Thomas. He started on and went back toward the sidelines. Now he's back on the field once again. So Mike Garrett and Emmett Thomas are the deep men. Don Chandler to do the punting. Oh, that was Donnie Anderson brought in to do the kicking, and he kind of squirted one, but it's getting a good Green Bay roll. It dropped just at the Kansas City 35-yard line, then rolled all the way down to the Kansas City 22 or 23. We'll call it the 22-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Kansas City. Tom?
Tony DiMedio trying to block that kick, and I've seen that left-footed kicker before, Donnie Anderson, when I did a Kansas football game, and as a matter of fact, that night we had a tornado, and the ball game was called off, and a lot of it was because Don Anderson had such a great day against Kansas University.
Those are the ball just short of the 23-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Pete Beathard still at quarterback. He has Burford wide to the left. Otis Taylor wide to the right. He rolls out to the right side, gets protection, heaves the long bomb far down the field, too far for Otis Taylor. Otis Taylor had broken free. Willie Wood was about 5 yards behind him trying to catch up, but the pass sailed over the head of the receiver and hit the ground incomplete.
Pretty good throw that time, Jack. 65 yards, and that's the thing he's always been noted for, that very strong throwing arm.
2 minutes left to play. The game is held up for the moment as each bench now is alerted to the fact that they're in the final 2 minutes. But now Otis Taylor gets back to the Kansas City Chiefs huddle. Pete Beathard, third-year man from the University of Southern California, well familiar with playing here at the Coliseum, is calling the signals. Kansas City has 2 times out left. Now we're ready to go. Beathard snugs down behind the center. Snap is made. He drops back to throw once again, is in trouble, and they have got him back there. Pete Beathard is thrown for a loss down around the 16-yard line. Jim Weatherwax and Tom Crutcher were storming through there on the stop. So the line of scrimmage now will be around the 16-yard line.
About the injury to Fred Williamson, apparently he's hurt his neck. He's all right now. He's sitting up, but I couldn't really determine what they were doing. I knew it was not an ankle, not a knee. They were working around his shoulder area, and what he's apparently done is strained his neck. But Fred appears to be all right, now is seated up and sitting right behind the Kansas City Chiefs on the far sideline.
Kansas City ready to go once again. Back goes Pete Beathard. Again, the pressure is on him. He throws one just anywhere he can, which wound up out of bounds, incomplete. The Packers are using only a four-man rush from their front four, but they're getting in there. That time, Willie Davis almost had Pete Beathard. So that runs Kansas City out of bounds. It's fourth down and about 17 yards to go. The line of scrimmage, their own 16. Donnie Anderson and Willie Wood are deep for Green Bay. As Sherrill Wilson goes back to do the punting. He'll be punting right from his own goal line. 1:25 left to play in the final quarter of this game. Wilson puts one in the air. This one a line drive shot. Willie Wood goes back to take it along his 30, gives ground to the 28, trying to find some place to go upfield. Penalty flag goes down as Willie Wood is down around the 27, 28-yard line. Clipping penalty called against the Green Bay Packers from the 27. That'll give them half the distance to the goal line. So they put it down at the 13.5-yard line.
Wilson got off his second-best kick of the day for Kansas City. He got off a 54-yard kick, plus the 15-yard penalty, puts the ball way back at the Packer 13.
End and flanker are out. Grabowski and Anderson, the running backs. Jim Grabowski takes the handoff, piles into the middle of the line, gets up to just barely across the 15-yard line where he's stopped by Sherrill Hedrick, the middle linebacker, and Buck Buchanan, the right tackle. 1 minute to go. Ball is right at the 15-yard line. A pickup of 2 by Grabowski to make it second down and a shade more than 8 yards to go. Now Bretkowski has the signal called. Bob Long goes out wide to the right side. Carroll Dale is split left. 2nd and 8. Grabowski gives the ball to Donnie Anderson. Anderson trying to get around the corner. Does. Gets up to the 15, to the 20, and is out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Making the tackle, Bobby Bell. Or Jerry Mays, rather. Jerry Mays over there to get him out of bounds at the 25. About 25 seconds indicated is left to play in the game. The ball now out at the 25. 1st and 10 for Green Bay. They lead in the ball game 35-10. And it looks like things are going to stay that way. Red Mack is coming into the game now, and he is replacing Bob Long at the flanker back, and he starts off at the right side, then remembers the call and comes back over to the left. And off to Donnie Anderson. Anderson cutting inside his blockers, gets across the line up to about the 29-yard line before he's stopped by E.J. Holland. Ball at the 29. So it'll be second down and about 6 yards to go. Clock running down to inside 10 seconds left now. And Green Bay is just going to let it work its way out. There is the gun, and there's the end of the game. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. So with the final score, Green Bay 35, Kansas City 10. Let's look back on the game for a moment with Tom Hedrick.
Here's how the scoring went, Jack. First of all, Green Bay got a 37-yard touchdown as Bart Starr threw to Max McGee. That occurred midway in the first quarter, and Chandler kicked the point after. And Kansas City came right back to tie the ball game 7-7. With 10:41 remaining in the second period, on a swing pass, Glenn Dawson to Kurt McClendon, Mercer kicked the point after. Green Bay then got a 14-yard sweep by fullback Jimmy Taylor. He came around the left end, capping a 73-yard drive. With 4:39 to go in the second quarter, it was 14-7. The Chiefs, right before the intermission mark, got a 31-yard field goal by Mike Mercer, and at halftime, they were in the ball game all the way, trailing 14-10. With only 2.5 minutes gone in the third quarter, Willie Wood intercepted a pass, ran it all the way to the Kansas City 4-yard line, and Pitts then got the football, swept around the left end for a 4-yard touchdown, and that gave Green Bay a 21-10 lead in the ball game, and appeared to ice it up, and that occurred with 12:33 remaining in quarter number 3. Then again, Bart Starr picked out Max McGee on the 13-yard touchdown, and that made it 28-10 Green Bay with only 51 seconds remaining before the third quarter came to a conclusion, and that capped the 44-yard drive. Green Bay wrapped it up in the day, going downfield, 80 yards in 8 play, because Pitts took it in from the 2-yard line. That occurred with 6:35 remaining in the ball game, and the Green Bay Packers won the first ever Super Bowl by the score of 35-10. This is Tom Edrick saying so long for Jack Freese and myself from the Los Angeles Coliseum. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Well, I think you can see from the size of the crowd standing right behind me that although the crowd and the drama is over on the field, there's a lot more right here as the Green Bay Packers pass behind me and go to their dressing room. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 35-10 in their machine-like, methodical-like way in the first ever Super Bowl. But I think if you watched that you were surprised, possibly you thought, possibly you knew that Kansas City was as strong as they are. We'll be getting reaction from Coach Vince Lombardi and some of these Packer players from the Green Bay dressing room. Charlie Jones will be in the Kansas City dressing room, finding out from Coach Hank Stram how he thought his team today. I'm sure he's very proud. There's a crowd here. I'm sure you can see all the press, the members of the press behind me. That also is indicative of the tremendous coverage that's been given to the Super Bowl game, the first ever, 1967, won by the NFL champion Green Bay Packers. The excitement and the drama of the players in their dressing room is right here, and you won't want to miss it.
The champions, the Green Bay Packers. We will join them during their celebration and relive their moments of glory in what has been the first AFL-NFL championship game. We'll talk to the champions and their coach, Vince Lombardi, for an analysis of today's game in which they became the world champions of professional football.
Well, again, Vince Lombardi, the coach of the Green Bay Packers, will be visiting a little bit later on. Hopefully, you can see the size of this tremendous crowd outside the Packer dressing room, which is over to my left, the Kansas City dressing room behind us. And we'll be visiting with Charlie Jones in the losers dressing room and the Kansas City dressing room, finding out from these two coaches, really, what they think about their respective teams, what Vince Lombardi thinks about Green Bay, if he was surprised by how tough that Kansas City line was to run against. Why did he go to the air so much? We'll ask Kansas City coach Hank Stram what he thinks and how he thinks his Kansas City team did, how he compares the strength of the two leagues. Should be interesting. We'll be going into both locker rooms. Commissioner Pete Rozelle of both leagues, by golly. Pete, you must have been pretty satisfied with this afternoon's game.
Oh, I was very much. I just thought it was a tremendous show, Pat. I had your monitor and could hear your comments during the game. I thought the color was great, and Green Bay was what we've known them to be, a very solid, fine football team, and I thought that Kansas City, particularly their defensive line, did an outstanding job.
The great observer of football that you are, of course, in addition to your other many duties, do you think this is indicative, the 35-10 score, is that indicative of the difference, or is one game enough for us to go by?
I think it probably takes more than one game. I think we'll get an additional reading this summer when we have some fine interleague preseason games, and we'll have pairings then, of course, of other than the top two teams. And I think that, while not again conclusive because there'll be preseason games, that could help us get a better line.
Pete, let's capsule something that you just brought up there. Now, is that the immediate plan for the two leagues to meet in preseason games next year?
Yes, each AFL club will play at least one game with an NFL opponent. Some will have more. So we should have perhaps as many as 12 or 15 interleague games next summer.
What are the differences now remain for you to work out? For example, we had one or two rule differences this afternoon's game. Have those things been resolved, or are they still to be resolved?
Well, one of the main ones left open is still that two-point conversion. It was not used today, but it will be used in all of the interleague preseason games next summer to give the NFL clubs a chance to see how it works. And as to the future of the two-point conversion, we'll take it up after this summer, perhaps.
What about the financial payoff now? $15,000 to the winner, $8,500 or thereabouts to the loser, or $75,000, I believe is correct.
Right.
Is that predetermined, or what affected the size of the crowd here this
Yes,
afternoon?
those were set figures, and then after taking those and game expenses out, that's about $1,170,000 for the competing players. Then we'll take game expenses out, and then after that, 40% of the remainder would go to their player pension funds, and then 15% to each league office. office and 15% to each of the competing clubs. So that it's from a financial standpoint, it was quite successful.
Win or lose, it's a pretty good afternoon.
Yes, it was.
For both teams and for you as commissioner of the two leagues. What is your title now?
Well, I'm commissioner of the two leagues, and hopefully NFL will pick an NFL president soon so I can take off that other hat.
Pete, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Pat.
Congratulations to you on a wonderful show this afternoon. We'll have more from both dressing rooms in just a moment.
I can't play football. I want to be in on somewhere else.
Vince, how do you compare now the NFL with the AFL?
I have nothing to say about it.
Can you hold the ball up, please?
Yes.
This way, Bob. Better effort than Dallas, Coach?
We can't hear you back here, man.
How many game balls have you gotten since you've been in Green Bay?
I would say about a dozen.
Vince, did the Kansas City team surprise you in any way? Did it show anything you didn't expect, or what?
I don't believe so. I think they played just well. The question was, did they show anything different? And the answer is no.
Did his half sprint outs in the first half really bother your defense?
I don't believe so. We just had that question about the moving pocket, and I don't believe so. I think we were not as aggressive in the first half as we might have been.
I think the interception was the key point in the ballgame.
That was a big play by Willie Wood, you mean, of course? Yes, it took us right down there, and of course we went in to score. Now, whether it was the key, I don't know what key plays are, really.
I don't think I have to tell you this is Vince Lombardi. This is a Packer locker room.
That's one of our offensive linemen. I think that's enough. I don't think we have to say who it is.
Vince, what'd you tell your boys at half? Any changes made there?
No, we just told them to be a little bit more aggressive and stop grabbing. We were going in there and grabbing rather than tackling, you know. We did that against Dallas, too, in the first half.
Coach, were you aiming at Mitchell and the defense?
At Mitchell? Well, that was one of our plans, yes, but I guess we did complete quite a few passes over there on him.
Your running was rather poor in the first half.
The running was, no way you can run against those defenses, but you can't rush the passer either.
The stacked defense.
That's right. Oh, let me put it this way. I shouldn't say there's no way. You can run against them, but it's difficult.
Coach, did you think...
It's much easier to throw against them.
It was a sacrifice on the pass.
That's right.
Coach, did you think it was sort of ironic that McGee had such a great day after Dollard started and hurt his shoulder? Don't you think Max did a terrific job?
Well, we had planned to hit our weak side end most of the game.
Regardless of who it was?
Regardless of who it was, that's correct.
Did you...
And when Carroll Dare wasn't there playing weak side, you notice we hit him, too.
Right. Coach, did you increase the amount of the blitz right after the start of the second
half, yes.
I thought on the Willie Wood intercepting, there was a blitz on at that time.
I don't remember if that was so or not.
Coach, it's been a long year for you and for Green Bay. What's your plan right now?
Well, right now I have to stay out here tomorrow.
You're going to stay tomorrow?
I have a meeting tomorrow.
What sort of meeting's coming up?
National League meeting.
I see.
Coach, was Kansas City's defensive secondary and awfully tight?
No, the secondary was rather loose, in fact. They played rather loose.
Looked like they were daring to make the long bomb there.
They were daring us to throw the ball, if that's what you mean.
Did it surprise you when Taylor didn't get up and take a whack at Buchanan?
That's a pretty big man, isn't it? Yes, sir.
Vince, how does this team compare with the Western Division teams that played?
I think Dallas was a better football team. Oh, the Western Division team? All of them? That's a good football team, and it doesn't compare with the National Football League teams. That's what you want me to say, I said it.
Are you including all the teams?
It took me a long time to get that out. No, I mean, I think the Kansas City team is a real top football team, and but it doesn't rate with the top teams in our division, that's what I'm saying.
Could you compare Kansas City with any team?
No, I will not. No, I cannot. No.
Why doesn't it rate with any team in the National Football League?
That's overall, that's hard to say now. It's overall I'm talking about.
Best team of the year, Coach?
I wouldn't say so, no.
You said within that would be 1 point. You didn't say top teams the first time. Second time.
I said top teams.
Top team.
Coach, looking back over the year, what would you say was your best game?
Boy, I think any one we win is a top game.
What about their style of defense? Was it different from what you
Yes,
faced
the
before?
stacked defense, Detroit played a number of years ago against the same defenses, exactly. George Wilson played it when he was at Detroit.
Would you describe them briefly for us, Coach?
It's stacked defense. They stack one side, linebacker behind a lineman, and they do a little dealing from that particular position. They're also in a very difficult position to get out for runs, but they're in also a poor position to defend on the pass.
Does this dictate why you went so much to the air?
That's right.
One of Green Bay's better games.
What's that?
One of Green Bay's more solid.
I don't think so. I think Starr was terrific. I think our passing game was excellent. I don't know what the passing statistics were, but they had to be tremendous.
Starr, I believe, was 15 out of 21 or something like that.
Very good.
What does Bart Starr mean to the success of the Packers?
I think Bart Starr is a very integral part. He always has been. I mean, when we were doing other things, he got very little recognition, but it was the same Starr.
As you can see, there is a lot of excitement here, and we'll have more of that for you in just a moment.
But it's not quite as lonely as it was, but as I mentioned, the quietness still prevails as the Kansas City Chiefs were defeated by the Green Bay Packers. On my left is E.J. Hollop, on my right is Mike Garrett. E.J., your first reaction, I know the question that everybody has asked you, how tough offensively are the Green Bay Packers?
They're a real good ball club. They position block real well, Charlie, and giving their backs room to run, whereas the linemen would make you take a side and the backs would run. And, of course, the big thing was the third down play. We let them get off the hook too many times on third down play.
You made a comment to me when you walked in the locker room that you had a sandwich on the field. Would you explain that?
Well, I feel like I hit a few of them, the same as they hit me.
In addition to the fact of the being down, of course, and losing the ball game, what is your reaction after participating in the first Super Bowl?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to hang my head. I think we hit them, even though the score didn't indicate the game. I think we hit them pretty good. We didn't, the big difference, like I said, we didn't give the offense the ball enough. Myself, I didn't play as good a game as I should have, and we should have given the offense the ball more often rather than let them control the ball. This is our type of ball game, and we let them play their type of ball game, really, by just controlling the ball. And we just didn't play well enough defensive-wise, you might say, Charlie. Speaking of myself.
All right, we have some highlights. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll be talking with Mike Garrett, and perhaps the both of you can comment as we'll be watching the monitors.
Dawson.
And this is Lynn Dawson.
That was a fake draw, Charlie, and it's supposed to hit the halfback out in the pad, in the flat, and Lane just decided to keep the ball and run. Mike made a good fake on that. This is Brown's situation, the same thing. It's a draw right here. Mike does a real good job picking his holes and running to the strong side.
Mike, how tough were they to run against?
Well, since we didn't run too much against them when we got behind, we had to pass, but I didn't find them exceptionally tough to run against, and they block real well and they tackle real well, and we'll be back next year ready to play them again, I guarantee that.
Well, did you notice anything against the defenses that they use and different to the other ones that you have faced?
No, not really. They play just like everyone else plays, and like I said, we'll be back and play them again.
This is a Browns situation. It's a handoff to Bert Cohn. No, excuse me, that was a fake. Faked me out there and threw it to Curtis. He went out in the flat. It was the same thing. It was like a 32-man with a fake and threw out to Curtis. Here, Bart has plenty of time right here, and Willie made a fine interception right there. He played the ball real well. He was having a little trouble the first half of getting footing. The turf was a little bit loose, and he put some longer cleats on at the half, and you got a little better footing. This is the 200 pattern right here, and it's throwing to Chris. Chris made a fine catch there.
Chris had an exceptionally good ball game.
Yes, he did. Chris is a clutch ball player. I think he does great anytime in practice, wherever it might be. He'll catch the ball. He'll even run through a wall to get it.
Well, everybody, Mike has been talking all week long, actually about the last 10 days, over the pressure of this particular ball game. Once you got on the Coliseum, did you feel that pressure?
Not so much. I think both teams felt the pressure. And of course, I have nerves. Anytime I play in the Coliseum, it seems, and I played here in college, I have a terrible nervous problem. And I had the typical, and it just took me time to get used to it. And I don't think the entire team had the same problem I did. I thought we'll be back, like I said.
Okay, one final quick question to Johnny Robinson. How tough were they to cover, Johnny?
Well, we had a lot of trouble with him. They gave Bart a lot of time to throw the ball, and he put it right in there. He's a great quarterback and they're a great football team. We'll be back, though.
Okay, John, now let's join Pat Summerall.
Trophy presentations being made here in the Packer dressing room now from Pete Rozelle, the commissioner, to Vince Lombardi.
Vinny, this is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year, so you and your squad certainly deserved it. It was a fine game.
Thank you, Pete. We're very, very happy to be able to present the National Football League and very happy to win the trophy. Thank you. The first Super Bowl trophy, as it was presented to Vince Lombardi by Commissioner Pete Rozelle. Here's a guy who had just a fantastic afternoon. This is Max McGee, if we can get him up here. Max caught 7 passes this afternoon and 1 fantastic catch, as I'm sure you remember. Standing back behind, kind of buried, but fellas, he'll do a greater job for you up there than I'll ever do. Get in there. Get it. Max McGee, as we said a minute ago, caught 7 passes this afternoon. The first one was just fantastic. That sit-down catch, Max, behind you. Did you know you had it when you started to go in?
No, I really didn't, as a matter of fact, but I'm kind of glad it stuck. It got us off to a good start.
Max, I remember in the last game against against Baltimore, I'm sorry, when you locked up the NFL title, you ran a similar pattern. And you said it was a broken pattern, though. You said it wasn't something that was called in the huddle. Was this one called in the huddle?
Yes, it was. Mr. Starr automatic to this play, and it was a great automatic. And, of course, it worked. We thought it'd work on this team. We really did.
George Reiterman, what do you think?
And I wanted to ask Max a question here, and Bart Starr. You seem to be coming down to the inside on Willie Mitchell all day. Did you come back and say you get open there? Is this a game plan before the game or what?
Well, right, Joe. It's always a game plan on those blitzes to try to get to the inside because they got no help, and that's the way it worked out today. We thought we could get to the inside on him, and all we had to do is block those big guys so we could throw it, and that got to be a problem for a while.
Bart, could you follow your game plan pretty well today?
Yes, we did, George. We didn't make any changes at all at halftime. We just didn't do a very good job of execution in the first half, and they got to us a few times, but we toughened up a little bit in the second half, kept the ball a little longer, and stayed right with our original game plan.
Jim Taylor, were you surprised at how tough they were? Or did you think this is a better football team than you thought it was in the beginning?
No, I think we anticipated them being pretty tough, and they did play real fine the first half, and then we caught up to them the second half and finally manhandled them a little bit.
Jim, what about the little fracas you had with Buck Buchanan? Were you surprised at how strong you were?
To maintain my balance there, I knew the play was over, and I'd heard the whistle, and he just threw me back with an arm, and I was just trying to hold my balance and not hit the ground.
Bart, did you think that your receivers got open any different times? Did you think the Kansas City backs were playing a little bit closer than they do in the NFL? Was there any difference in the secondary?
Well, that's hard to say. As Max told George a while ago, sometimes on a blitz situation, it's not fair to compare backs because when they have no help, a back covers you a little differently than he would if he's got help underneath. And this is when Max beat some of these fellas several times. I'm sure he'd say the same thing.
Were you surprised at the strength of this team?
Yes, I was. I thought they did an excellent job on us, particularly in that first half.
We asked Vince Lombardi earlier if he would compare this team to, say, Dallas. Do they compare with Dallas?
I wouldn't want to compare teams.
That seems to be a pretty standard answer, I think, George. You got anything else, George?
Yeah, Bart, on your short passes, particularly in the first half, I notice you're throwing a lot of them in there low. Do you do that purposely to avoid interceptions on your hook patterns?
Well, you try to, George, yes. In fact, the first pass I threw to McGee today, I turned around and looked, and Robinson was right on top of him, and I threw it well down low so that he didn't get it, no one would, yes.
You do that purposely, though, do you?
Try to, yes. A high one is awfully easy to get. Anybody can get those.
Bart Starr, Jim Taylor, Max McGee, congratulations and much continued success to you in Green Bay and in football. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bart. Thanks, man, very much. We'll have more from you from here in just a moment.
Up in our CBS broadcast booth again with Paul Christman. And Paul, looking back over it, it seems like maybe this was truly the longest day. It seems that way, doesn't it?
It's got to be a long day for Kansas City Chiefs. There's no doubt about it, Frank. I said all along, and particularly in the last half, it had to be Mr. Starr all the way, and it proved right. I think probably, as I mentioned on our wrap-up, the key to the ball game was the fact that Kansas City did a reasonable job of containing Green Bay, but when Green Bay needed a first down,
He threw that curl in there and that little sharp in business, and it's just almost impossible to stop if it's timed right. And I think Mr. Starr can do this with the blindfold on, I'm convinced, because the timing was absolutely perfect, just great.
Certainly, they seem to work almost like clockwork. And let's take a look at some of the action that took place here today in the first Super Bowl game. And again, to just go again with what has been said, Bart Starr performing brilliantly for the Green Bay Packers. And here you see Starr, who completed 62% of his passes over the season, scrambling out of there, getting the ball off to Elijah Pitts.
That's a fine scramble job right there, too, because he was really under pressure and got the ball away for a good gain.
And again, Starr going back this time. It's over the middle. Max McGee making that grab from behind his back, one-handed. You just heard him say a moment ago he was happy it stuck there.
That had to be probably one of the outstanding catches of the year, too. Here's Starr again throwing. Who is that, Willie Fleming?
That's Marv Fleming.
Marv Fleming, I'm sorry.
A big one.
Oh, is he ever?
They're good targets, aren't they?
This is the guard combination we've talked about so much. Kramer and Thurston, they pull out, and this is Katie bar the door. That's Jimmy Taylor going over there.
Now Lenny Dawson staying in there.
Dawson, yes. Go ahead. He's under duress, and you know what happened.
Certainly do, Paul, and you saw Willie Wood pick that off. And I think if there was a turning point in this football game, it had to be that. That came on the first series of downs for Kansas City in the second half, and as you're going to see, in the first play, they pounded over.
Well, we talk about making a mistake, and it cost 7 points in professional football. 2 plays later, they had a score. You're right.
Max McGee.
Yeah, isn't that a circus catch? Mr. McGee had himself quite a day.
He's had many of them for Green Bay, and it always seems to be the clutch performance. Starr again throwing, this time over the middle. And again, it's Max McGee.
And he gets Bulldog.
And again, down on the goal line where McGee helped him come in.
Jimmy Taylor, which he does so well, bouncing. The hole was plugged, as you saw, and still he skips outside. He's a good slider on that type of thing, and he picks up that at 1 or 2 yards when you need it. This is most important for a fullback, as you well know.
Paul, I honestly must say that I think that it was one of the fine defensive performances I've seen by that front four of Kansas City.
It was. We said all along that they do not do a lot of blitzing because the front four is so good in its own way, but that's the way it happened. They did it just as you said. They were tough.
Paul, I've enjoyed working with you. And now let's go back down to Pat Summerall. He's in the Green Bay dressing room.
Well, it's still hot and hectic here, as I'm sure you can tell. And we talked about big plays. You heard Frank Gifford mention that big play that Willie Wood made. This is Willie Wood, and Willie, congratulations to you on this afternoon.
Oh, thank you very much, Pat.
It must be doubly rewarding to come back to the Coliseum and have a good afternoon like you did.
Yes, in fact, I'm happy all the way around. It's nothing that I can say. I'm just really overjoyed about the whole thing, and that the team considered my play the big play, and of course it's the type of thing that we often ask our guys for, to try to get us started, especially when we were as flat as we were in the first half. And it was just a matter of us adjusting. I think the first half, Kansas City sort of caught us flat-footed in a sense, and we got ourselves together, and I'm happy with the way the game turned out.
I bet you are. The Packers have been famous for that big play for a long time. George, you got something?
Yeah, Willie, you made the key play of the game, that interception. Did you guess at all on that play, or do you ever guess when you're on defense?
Well, no, we never guess. What we anticipate a lot of things in situations, what the team normally do. Every team has a habit. They have things that they do best in key situations, and we noticed in film in our scouting report that they usually go to our balance on a big play, 3rd down 5 situation like that, or they turn into Buford, and this is what we were looking for.
George, there's a gentleman right behind us here. In fact, there are 2 men right here. One Elijah Pitts and one Paul Horning. And Elijah, as you know, played the entire game this afternoon. And congratulations, first of all, to you.
Thank you.
On just a great afternoon and a great season, too.
All right, thank you. We are kind of proud of it now that it's all over.
I'll bet you are. Paul, if there's ever been a symbol of professional football and a symbol of the greatness that is Green Bay, it's Paul Horning. Congratulations. You must be very proud, even though you didn't play this afternoon.
Yes, I am, Pat. Naturally, just like Coach said,
Everybody felt the responsibility as being part of the NFL and carrying it into this game as the first Super Bowl champion. And naturally, I would have liked to play with this fellow here. He's just done a tremendous job all year, and it's great to be associated with this team. I think that the Packers proved that they at least deserve to start off as the #1 team.
Paul, this fellow right here credits you, I think, a lot with the success that he has had and the tremendous amount of help that you've given him.
Well, it's all true. Geez, whenever I come off the field, Paul's always over there watching to see what I can do. With his experience, of course, it helps me a lot in everything I do out there.
And that's what makes the Packers. Paul, one thing now, there's been a lot of rumors, a lot of things have been said about the fact that you might not play anymore. You got anything to say at this time?
Well, Pat, the only thing I can say at this time, I'm going to wait 3 or 4 months and see if my arm comes back and get thoroughly checked in February. And I'd like to play another year, maybe 2 years if I can. I feel pretty good otherwise, except my arm. And just going to take a few months' work with the weights, and if I'm lucky, I might be playing next year.
And you are going to give it a try, though, if physically you are able.
Right.
Well, men, congratulations to you. A tribute to you, to the NFL, and to the Green Bay Packers. And thank you very much, Willie, Paul, and Elijah Pitts.
Thank you, Tom.
Much good luck and continued success. That's just about it from here. Now, let's go back upstairs. We'll continue in just a moment.
The final statistics are in, and they just about tell the story of that second half as Green Bay picked up 200 yards net rushing and passing after Kansas City led in total offense at halftime. And the Kansas City Chiefs in the second half were held to about 50 or 60 yards, Paul, on total offense in the second half.
Well, Kurt, as I mentioned, they had to play catch-up football, and of course, when an experienced team like Green Bay knows this, they adjust their defense accordingly, and it's just a little difficult to move against them.
The passing was very good today. Of course, Starr had the 16 out of 23 day. Dawson looked good. He had 16 out of 27. Young Beathard came in and had 1 out of 5. But there's the final score. Green Bay 35, Kansas City 10, and Green Bay wins the first official AFL-NFL World Championship. And we can say on the Kansas City side, they should be proud. They won their league championship, and there's certainly no disgrace to get beat by the Green Bay Packers.
That's what Hollop said. I'm not hanging my head. I agree with him.
So this has been our special post-game show, The Champions. And Kurt Gowdy and Paul Christman saying so long until we see you next Saturday on the AFL All-Star Game.
4-29,
On January 15th, 1967, on a bright, clear day in the Los Angeles Coliseum, the big question which had troubled the football world for 7 years was answered. For the first time, the Green Bay Packers, champions of the National Football League, played the Kansas City Chiefs, the best team in the American Football League. The game was the first concrete evidence of the merger of the two leagues, and it was played for the highest stakes ever, $15,000 per man for the winning players. The Super Bowl was seen by the largest sports audience in the history of television. 65 million people watching the broadcast on 2 networks.
program, football line up here. Got to take it down, fella. Okay. Yeah, get that starting line up here. Get a program, football line up here. Yeah, you line up today.
This premier spectacle of sport took place in a carnival atmosphere appropriate to the Hollywood setting. clarion call of the Kansas City trumpeter went unanswered. Throughout the entire game, the Kansas City runners were hauled down at the line of scrimmage as the big mobile Green Bay defenders overpowered the blockers. It was established early that the Chiefs could not move the ball consistently on the ground. They were to gain only 72 yards rushing. Most of this yardage was born from desperation, as Len Dawson scrambled to avoid Green Bay tacklers. This, of course, is a sign of weakness, not of strength. With their ground game choked off, the Chiefs took to the air. During the second quarter, they surprised the Green Bay defense with accurate passing, which elusive Mike Garrett made even more effective. The play-action pass was quarterback Len Dawson's most useful weapon. It was a play-action pass which fooled Green Bay and gave Kansas City its longest gain of the day. It's Dawson to Otis Taylor for 31 yards. The fullback's fake is the key to the play-action pass. When the Green Bay defense honors the fake, it must sacrifice the pass rush. With no pressure on him, Dawson has ample time to find a receiver. The receiver, in turn, has time to break free. Another play-action pass. Dawson to Curtis McClinton gives Kansas City its only touchdown. In super slow motion, we see the Green Bay defense sucked in by the play-action fake. The fake is so convincing that Dawson has his choice of two receivers.
I'm looking for tight end. I'm 40. When the tight end blocks, I come up. Now, if he came inside, I'm going to lose you every time. I just have to lay back here.
Now the Green Bay defense ignores the faking backs to concentrate on Dawson. In the second half, the Packers begin to blitz to put even more pressure on Dawson. Number 60, Leroy Caffey, finds an open road to the quarterback. The Green Bay front four is relentless. Dawson learns the hard way what NFL quarterbacks have known for years. Kansas City discovers that against Green Bay, success invites punishment. As the pass rush hurries Dawson, the task of the Green Bay defensive backs becomes easier. All-Pro Herb Adderley, aware that the rush has diminished the threat of the bomb, concentrates on denying the short pass. With his receivers covered short and long, Dawson tries to stall the rush with a screen pass, which dies on the long reach of Bob Brown. As the Kansas City offense consistently comes up short, frustrated coach Hank Stram ponders an impossible problem. Pro football games are won and lost on third down. For Kansas City, it's now 3rd and 11. This is the play Dawson must make to keep the Chiefs alive. Dawson completes his pass to Reg Carolyn, but Ray Nitschke stops the play 4 yards short of the first down. As the Chiefs founder on the rocky Green Bay defense, they try to salvage what they can with a field goal attempt. But even that fails, and the missed third down has cost them possession of the ball. It is the third down play which separates the great quarterback from the average. The great ones convert third down into first. For Dawson, it's 3rd and 10. He completes a screen pass to Garrett into the thick of the Green Bay defense, and the play gains only 8 yards.
Let's go for it! Let's go!
But the Chiefs go for the field goal instead. Mike Mercer brings the Kansas City point total to 10, but the Chiefs will score no more this afternoon. Most third down failures force the team to kick. This third down failure forced the Chiefs out of their game plan into a hopeless game of catch-up. Willie Wood's 50-yard return strikes deep into the Kansas City heartland. This fatal third down failure was the child of frustration. Dawson, under brutal pressure from a Packer blitz, lobs a weak pass over the on-rushing defenders. With nothing on it, the ball flutters into the hands of Wood. If there was one play upon which the game turned, this was it.
I thought it was going to go all the way on the daggone thing.
Did somebody flick a toe or something? Yeah, kind of.
Now, somebody came from behind, you know. I was undecided whether to change field or not on that thing.
You might have made her going for that corner, but
that's what I started to do.
Overmatched as a team, some Kansas City players still had their moments. Number 55, E.J. Holub, shows unusual speed for a linebacker as he runs step for step with Jim Taylor to stop a sweep. The left side linebacker, powerful Bobby Bell, demonstrates his strength and agility as he fights off a block to make this tackle. In the circle, tackle Buck Buchanan knocked back 2 steps at the moment of impact, still with persistence and good pursuit, manages to wrestle Jim Taylor to the ground. Four times in the course of the game, Dawson did throw the ball to Otis Taylor, but it was far from enough. The timing was faulty on Dawson's first 2 passes to Chris Burford, his other top receiver. Both balls were caught dramatically, but out of bounds. However, Burford is a fine end. He caught 4 passes for 67 yards to lead the Kansas City receivers. Mercury quick Mike Garrett gave American Football League fans cause for pride. Garrett was one of the best backs on the field.
Come on, let's go, hey! All right, give it to Garrett! Give it to Garrett! Give it to Garrett!
When they did give the ball to Garrett, he brought the fans to their feet with skittering stop-and-go runs through the Green Bay defense. A beautifully balanced runner, Garrett time and again slipped tackles to gain additional yardage. Mike Garrett is a complete player. He blocks. His fakes were so convincing, but often he was tackled when he did not have the ball. And when his quarterback is in a hole, Garrett lends a helping hand. Above all, though, Mike Garrett is a great natural runner. Kansas City did have some stars, but Green Bay was a team of stars. On the third play of the game, Green Bay lost one of its stars when Board Dowler suffered a separated shoulder. He was replaced by 34-year-old Max McGee, the unlikeliest star of the afternoon. McGee fielded his first pass like Willie Mays and went on from there. McGee's catch is even more startling in super slow motion, and it was a portent of things to come. The crafty Green Bay veteran used his 11 years of NFL experience over and over to take advantage of the young Kansas City cornerbacks. McGee beat Willie Mitchell to the outside. He beat Mitchell to the inside. When the desperate Chiefs resorted to double coverage, McGee beat both defenders. Although he had caught only 4 passes during the entire NFL season, on this vital afternoon, McGee caught 7 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. He demoralized the Kansas City secondary.
What a day, That's the old girl working on that young man. Let it go, Let's go line out.
Shake him up, baby, huh?
How about Magoo? He gonna play out 5 passes all year.
Snip and tuck, and then we're gonna run off the lead.
Carroll Dale, the Packers' other wide receiver, also found Kansas City's stacked defense an invitation to success. Dale gratefully accepted the short passes conceded by Mitchell, who was deathly afraid of the bomb. Hammered to the earth by Fred Williamson on this play, Dale learned something. Later, he used this hard-won knowledge to sting Williamson. After the Green Bay Bombers laid open the Kansas City defense, Packer runners ran through the wounds. Jim Taylor, behind violent blocking, ripped through the gaps torn in the Kansas City defense. On that last touchdown, Max McGee's chain reaction block piled up Kansas City's stacked defense. Elijah Pitts also ran to daylight through the Kansas City line. On that touchdown, you can see the savage charge of the Green Bay offensive line. Fleming, Skoronski, and Thurston wipe out the tiring Kansas City defenders. As the game wore on, the Kansas City defensive line folded under the steady pounding of the Green Bay blockers. The holes gaped wider, and the pack of runners dug deep into the soft underbelly of the Chiefs. Whiplashed by plays that struck with equal devastation to either side, the Chiefs were helpless to stem the Packer onslaught. Finally, Elijah Pitts applies the coup de grace.
Andy? Where's Andy? We got me warm up. You go in for Pitts. Bravo? Yes, be warm, be warm.
With the final blow administered, Lombardi sends in his youngsters. In 3 minutes, rookie Donnie Anderson outgained any Kansas City back. On this play, his powerful stride accidentally lays out Fred Williamson.
Hammer. You know who got hurt? The hammer. The hammer? They nailed the hammer. Hey, Slap, the hammer got it. Really? Get him! Time out on the field.
Quarterback Bart Starr was the architect of the Green Bay victory. On the Packers' first series, while his blockers were adjusting, Starr was harried by the Kansas City rush, but he never lost his poise. Firing into the Kansas City defense with cool precision, Starr first hits Fleming, then mixes his targets expertly. On this march, he finds Pitts. Dale. And finally, McGee for the touchdown. These 4 passes ate up 82 yards. On third and short yardage, Starr likes this daring play. The play-action fake completely fools the Kansas City defense, and Dale is wide open. Unruffled when a penalty nullifies the touchdown, Starr proves again why he is the best quarterback in football. Where Kansas City failed on its third down opportunities, Starr never misses. On third and 5, he hits Max McGee for 10. On third and 10, he connects with Dale for 15. On third and 6, it's Fleming for 11. On third and 7, Starr finds his 4th different receiver, Elijah Pitts, for another first down. A magnificent performance earns Bart Starr the game's most valuable player award. For the first time in 7 years, Vince Lombardi's Packers, 35-10 victors over Kansas City, can claim an indisputable world championship. In this superb spectacle of a sport, even the losers can find some satisfaction.
I thought we played well the first half, and I thought we got off to a good start the second half. But I think the interception on the 3rd and 5 situation seemingly changed the personality of the ball game. Starr, I thought, was just terrific all afternoon at picking up the big 3rd down play.
They have good people. We had good people. We didn't play our finest ball game. They played well. I think Max McGee probably had the best football game he's had in the last 10 years.
Of course, I don't know what their game plan was, but it's very evident that they were working on our left side.
Back to cornfields, huh?
On another day, in another year, it will surely be the turn of the AFL. But this spectacle of a sport belonged to Green Bay.
Now, we recently caught up with Chiefs quarterback Len Dawson and asked the Hall of Famer what it was like taking on the NFL and what he was doing at halftime of Super Bowl I. All right, Len, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate the time.
That's my pleasure. You're going to talk about Super Bowl IV, right?
We would love to get to that. We'll get that in about 3 years from now when we piece that one back together. Okay, so here we are. It's halftime. The Packers are up 14-10 in a game that a lot of the pundits said you were going to get blown out of the water in the first 30 minutes anyway. What was the tone in the locker room?
The tone in the locker room was a very positive one because we thought we had a shot at them. That first of all, most people didn't think we'd even score anything against the Green Bay Packers and that great defense that they had. But at halftime, we said, hey, we got a shot at these people. We can't make too many mistakes, but we have an opportunity.
Could you feel a sense of disrespect on the other side of the football from the Green Bay Packers during the game?
Not so much that because a lot of the guys on Green Bay's team and guys on my team, you know, they either played together or played against each other at the collegiate level. So not that much. It was, you know, Nitsky was right in front of me there. What a wonderful man that he is, knowing that he wanted to get his hands on my throat. But no, I don't think so.
I'm curious for you on a personal level. You were drafted number 5 overall by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. Didn't make it there. You got traded to Cleveland in the NFL. Didn't make it there. Was there a sense for you that I kind of had to show everybody that I could play this game at this level?
I really never had an opportunity to play for Pittsburgh or Cleveland. I think I started once for Pittsburgh, once for Cleveland, but I never started and finished a game, whether it be a preseason game or a regular season game. But the thing is, this guy by the name of Lamar Hunt, decided he wanted to have a league called the American Football League, and he hired a guy by the name of Hank Stram as his head coach of the Dallas Texans. Well, Hank Stram was one of my coaches at Purdue University, and I just wanted an opportunity to play. And I felt that he had the best way that he possibly could to at least try me. And he did that, and so consequently, I was rusty. At 5 years in the league, and you don't play, you are going to be very rusty. Hopefully, you know, I could get over that, and Hank Stram was someone who knew me very well and worked with me to improve what I had been doing at Purdue University.
I want to get back to Mr. Hunt for a second. The founder of the AFL, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Was there a little extra fight among the players, say, hey, let's get this for this guy because he's the reason we're playing professional football?
You have a very good point there because look at me. They threw me out of the National Football League, just let me, because I asked Paul Brown to put me on waivers. And they did that in June, and generally June was a month that the assistant coaches took off before the season gets underway, and a lot of the teams didn't know I was on waivers. So consequently, I went through freely so I could sign with any team that I wanted. And fortunately, Lamar Hunt had formed the league, and we were all very grateful for the opportunity to play professional football. And so, you know, yes, I'm very grateful for that.
Finally, Lenny, a lot of people are curious what you might do at halftime of a big game, say a Super Bowl. We do have a picture of you, and of course you are firing up a heater there in the bathroom, and there's a guy behind you wearing Mickey Mouse ears. Please tell me you have this photo framed somewhere in the Dawson household.
Oh, definitely. I think it's in the attic, someplace where it's hard to find. But yes, I have seen that photograph of me smoking. Thank goodness I gave up smoking years and years ago. But yeah, that's been the talk not only around Kansas City but all across the country.
Len Dawson, we appreciate.
Evidently, you guys found out.
Yeah, sorry about that. We've got a pretty good research department around here at NFL Network. We appreciate the time. We promise you. In 3 years, we'll talk about your Super Bowl IV victory in which you were named MVP, and we'll invite you back then, okay?
Very good.
We're accustomed to Super Bowl halftime shows featuring the biggest stars in music. Well, Super Bowl I was a little bit different, as the bands from the universities of Arizona, Michigan, and Grambling were the headline act, joined by a few guys straight out of the space program.
It's hard to believe now, but the sideline media coverage for the first Super Bowl was less than you'd see for a preseason game today. NFL Films could have fit most of its crew in a station wagon.
Sports reporters and newspaper guys, their first question, hey, Sable, how many cameras you cover in the game? How many cameras? Well, I started with 5 because it was very expensive to shoot these games. It was easier than a regular season high rivalry game. I mean, there weren't that many people on the sidelines. The first Super Bowl, it was not a big deal.
The AFL-NFL concept was still too new for fans to absorb. But that didn't keep both NBC and CBS from broadcasting the game, the first and only time that's ever happened.
Each league had its own television contract. The AFL was with NBC and the NFL would have been with CBS, so we would have had untold arguments if we tried to say, well, one network is going to get it. So the answer was to use a common feed and same picture, and each network have their own sponsors.
Even with two networks, there was still one small detail that both overlooked.
When we saw all these acres of empty seats in our footage, it reminded me of what an eerie, almost surreal setting it was. You'll only see this on our film footage because the network tape doesn't exist. If you can believe this, they recorded soap operas over the game tapes, and VCRs hadn't been invented yet.
Because of the high cost of videotape in the 1960s, it was network policy to reuse old stock. Neither CBS nor NBC owns a full Super Bowl I broadcast. But in 2005, a video from a Scranton, Pennsylvania TV station emerged with some of the game, yet still missing halftime and most of the third quarter.
And it just amazes me that somehow it was erased, or it might even be that the importance of the game wasn't held in that high esteem back then. It was perhaps just another championship football game.
We are exactly 7 hours away till Super Bowl kickoff time, when most of us will stop whatever we're doing and tune in for the Patriots, what am I saying? The Seahawks, and of course, the ads. But I want to tell you about a Super Bowl mystery, one that stretches back 48 years, back to the very first Super Bowl. It was in 1967. Two networks actually showed the game that year, NBC and CBS, but neither of them have the footage. It's as if Super Bowl I has disappeared. Jack Whitaker was the play-by-play man for CBS, and he's never seen his own broadcast. His story is coming up in a few minutes. But first, let me show you the few snippets of video that do exist. This is from two film reels containing part of the historic broadcast. They were found buried away years ago in an attic in Pennsylvania. But we don't know who found them. The man is anonymous. He has the holy grail of sports footage, and almost nobody has seen it. So what is the holdup? Let me bring in Stephen Harwood. His client has the recording. Mr. Harwood, thanks for being here.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I think this is an amazing story. How did your client discover the tape?
Well, what happened in 1967, nobody at home really had the facilities or the technology to record games. But the father of my client worked for a company that did have the equipment and went in on Sunday, 1967, when the game was played, and recorded the game on 2-inch quadruplex tapes. And after the game, took the two reels, put them in his attic, where they lay dormant for about 38 years.
And now the tape is in the possession, one of the tapes is in the possession of the Paley Center here in New York, a museum and an organization about the history of television. I talked to the curator there, Ron Simon. He says he's wondering, has there been any progress? Because now the issue is you all are talking to the NFL, trying to get a deal done so this tape can be seen publicly, right?
That is correct. We have certainly kept our lines of communication open with the NFL. We've offered to meet with them. It's certainly our desire that the NFL get possession of what's on the tape. We think, given that the Super Bowl 50 is coming up next year, looking back at Super Bowl I would make an exciting time to revisit what happened in January 1967.
You know, I talked to Ron this morning. He said the tape is in a vault. You know, I'm not even able to go see it in person because he would have to get your permission. So what does your client want? Is it just a matter about the amount of money that's at issue here?
Well, I think money is certainly an issue. We believe that it has some value to it. Back in 2005, Sports Illustrated put a value on this tape of in excess of $1 million. And to put that in perspective, $1 million is the equivalent of about 7 seconds of commercial airtime on today's game. So I think that there's value on the tape. I think it would be important for the sports community to see this footage, and we think that the NFL is in the best position to commercially exploit and show what's on the tape. And we are most interested in getting it into the hands of the NFL and then into the hands of the consumer and the sports community. And we feel being compensated for preserving it for all these years is certainly a reasonable thing to do.
All right, I hope a deal gets done. Steve Harwood, thanks for being here.
You're quite welcome. Thank you, Brian.
So I mentioned Jack Whitaker a moment ago. He is a legend among sports announcers. He has covered all the great sporting events of our time, from the Olympics to the World Cup, and he was there on the sidelines for Super Bowl I, calling the plays for CBS. Jack, thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Welcome to Super Bowl weekend.
That's right. That's right. We're less than 8 hours away at this point. When you were on the sidelines that day, did you ever expect the Super Bowl to become what it is today? I mean, we're expecting over 110 million people to be tuning in tonight.
No, we thought it was going to be a very important game, the cap of the season to crown a real champion. And we never dreamed it would turn into what it has today, which is just a big social event.
Right, as much for the ads as for the game itself.
Well, that's it. I think you could really describe the Super Bowl today as being two exhausted teams playing second fiddle to the halftime show and the TV commercials.
So it's been so many years now. Do you have any recording, any record of that first broadcast?
No, I don't. Nothing at all. All I have is what's in my memory.
There's no real tape that can be watched. I mean, none that anybody has except for one private owner who is anonymous. That is wild to me. I mean, how could that have happened?
Well, I don't know. We didn't have much people who were interested in the history of our industry in those days. We lost a lot of important tapes and recordings of important events. I think that's been corrected now, thank goodness.
For you as the broadcaster, what was the scariest moment of the game?
Well, for me, it was the beginning of the second half. Ray Scott did the play-by-play in the first half, and I did the second half. So the second half kickoff goes, ball gets into the end zone, all of a sudden the whistles blow and play stops. And I look down, there's no flag, I can't see anything. I looked over to Frank Gifford, he gave me I don't know. What it was, NBC was still in commercial and they missed the kickoff.
Oh, geez.
So they did the kickoff a second time.
Yeah, that's one of the strange things about the first Super Bowl. Both NBC and CBS televised it. How did that come about?
Well, NBC had televised the AFL games and CBS had done the NFL games. So who was going to do the Super Bowl? So Pete Rozelle, in his infinite wisdom, said both networks will do them.
And you were on CBS along with Frank Gifford. You were doing the CBS broadcast. There was a pretty wild rivalry between NBC's and CBS's teams, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. And that got as much print as the two teams did leading up to the game. And that was the beginning of a part of the Super Bowl. There's always a backstory that's almost as big as the game.
So what do you remember about the telecast? Where were you in the stadium, and what was it like to be broadcasting to so many millions of people?
Well, it was kind of scary, yes. It always is. But you have to be a little scared to be any good. And I think after that incident in the beginning of the second half, things calmed down for me and we were okay.
Do you think over time, over the decades, journalists have changed the way they cover sports in an important way? I mean, you worked for both ABC News and ABC Sports even in the 1980s. Have you seen a real change in how journalists approach this topic?
Yes, I think so. And again, I think it's because of the culture change. Some people ask
questions that we would never ask, or let me put it this way, they ask questions in a manner in which we would never ask a question.
Tell me what you mean. What's the difference?
Well, I mean, they just get right down to it. They're kind of rude sometimes. And no, it's good journalism to ask the tough questions, but there's a good way to ask a tough question.
When you see a scandal or a perceived scandal like Deflategate dominating the press, do you roll your eyes at that, or do you think that's an important story?
Well, you're supposed to report what's happening. And sometimes they overdo it, like I think this inflation story has been overdone. And but I think generally they do a better job today than we did back then.
You covered so many different sporting events. Where does the Super Bowl rank for you?
It's important because I did the first one. Secretariat's Belmont was much more important, or just as important, and many other things I've done over the years. And certainly the other Super Bowls I did about 12 of them, I guess. None of them kind of measure up.
Jack Whitaker, thanks so much for being here. Great talking with you.
Thank you very much. It was great talking to you. Brought back a lot of memories.